separately because I had trouble streaming it last time.
Okay.
I don't see it anymore unless you just fixed it out.
The Watch Together link should be in the... Yeah, the Watch Together link is in Critique of Stories.
Oh,
Now.
okay. Oh.
It's the most recent one.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I forgot to.
Are we live now?
Hang on.
YouTube?
One second.
Yes,
Hang on,
yes, we
now.
actually are connected.
Oh, sh.
okay. So
Okay.
before we get into it, it's like, Alex, you know.
Whatever a spider can.
Ah.
It seems a way.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Whenever I post a...
Okay. Nobody touched the fucking video.
I didn't
Let's...
touch the video.
No, I don't think anybody did. I think Watch Together's just kind of fucking weird. Anyways.
That was me. I was just being funny.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for your honesty, Ben. Really.
You're welcome.
So, Kevin, what were you gonna say?
You know why I say that TASM 1 kind of feels like it falls apart, like, right around, I think, after, like, the first third of the movie?
You don't
It's
you don't like the Kirk Connors plot. You don't like the lizard plot.
No, the lizard plot is fucking stupid.
Okay, so for
Like,
those of you...
They set up the lizard to be, like, this tragic villain and whatnot, and then he goes and pulls that stupid thing from the Pteranodon on guy. Peter's like, oh, you could cure cancer with that kind of technology. He's like, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to that impromptu little thing about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 1. We're not talking about The Amazing Spider-Man today. We're talking about Cosmonaut Variety Hour's review of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Yes, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, and I actually have an opinion on this one because I love the Sam Raimi trilogy. So I've got some things to say.
Yes. Kevin, you've been kind of trying to get me to watch this video with you for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, because I wanted to tear into this guy, I as well as Jeremy Scott, for some time, but I needed a way to do that.
Well,
and luckily,
yeah.
and luckily, now we do have a way.
Life finds a way.
It always does.
You gotta say it right. Life finds a way. And the thing is like, back then, and I used to kind of, like I said, I kind of used to take this guy's opinion seriously, but then he decided to be a fucking tool.
His review of Civil War is probably, like, the conclusion that he comes to, that the comic was better, is enough for me to doubt his credibility. You know?
Yeah. And of course, the thumbnail
Yeah, the
he
comic
uses for
is not better.
the thumbnail he uses for his Civil War review is basically a Hoye image of Captain America and Tony Stark.
Okay. He has a Last Supper image for his MCU review.
Yep.
Tony Christ, superstar.
Do you think you're what they say you are? So anyway, are we going to get started?
Well, right before we do, Ben, have you ever watched this video?
I don't think I ever seen this.
I watched a clip or so of it, and I determined I didn't want to watch any more because, aside from the title, it's just kinda fucking stupid. It's like the Nostalgia Critic's review of Spider-Man 1, but worse, you know? It's like his review of The Matrix, but worse.
And here's the thing, Nostalgia Critic at least is honest that it's just kind of his opinion.
Yeah, Doug always has
Yeah,
like that to fall back on, you know?
And I've met
Yeah,
Doug.
I like the nostalgia pick. I always like hearing his opinions on stuff. I've
I've
seen
met
he can
Doug
be fucking
at
wrong
least
at times,
twice,
but
and
you know.
Doug's actually a really chill guy.
Yeah, like Doug Walker
Yeah, Doug-
doesn't present any of his opinions as like objective truths, you know.
And yet,
yeah.
And yet people like Markus and Bob Chipman do.
We'll get to Bob Chipman's review of Batman v Superman eventually.
Maybe after we do Batman v Superman.
Yeah, we'll double feature it.
Yeah.
Dylan, what do you have you watched any of this guy's stuff?
I have not watched all of it. I got too pissed off.
Okay, yeah, so you're in the same camp as me, and Ben's a fresh face.
I've actually watched all of this review.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started.
Whenever I post a video at least partially related to Spider-Man, I always get vultures flying down yelling at me about how Homecoming isn't that good.
Well, it's not.
So are you guys just Michael Keaton or something?
No, I'm who was the guy? I'm Robert Englund.
And Ben is Dwight Schultz.
Yes.
What?
Well, I'll be Dwight Schultz. Ben, you can be Robert Englund.
Okay, so
as long as I'm not the one that dies.
Here's the thing. I like Spider-Man. I like the MCU Spider-Man movies, but I do acknowledge the fact that there are some fundamental things wrong with it.
Yeah, Homecoming has this thing where it's a too many cooks situation. There are 6 writers. Yeah. Nobody can decide who the fuck is in charge. You know, you're never supposed to have more than 3 writers on any given project. And
Transformers 2 should have taught us that lesson.
But for some reason,
Homecoming was a third act.
And the thing is like Homecoming tries to do like the deadlift thing, but after watching Spectacular Spider-Man, I'm like, yeah, the writers of that movie definitely watched that show.
Yeah, they're trying to recreate Spectacular Spider-Man without any of the things that made that good, without the writing quality, without the character development and all that. They're trying to recreate Spider-Man 2 with the fucking boat scene, which is still the dumbest scene in the history of Spider-Man, except for giving the fucking glasses to Mysterio. That took the fucking cake.
Well, at the very least,
I actually like that moment. I thought that was good.
Mysterio, at the very least, established himself as an effective con artist. Comics. That's the unfortunate thing, Alex. They got some part of him accurate.
Well, yeah. That's the kind of thing where it would have been more effective if it would have been way more effective if he'd have been like a background character in like the rest of the fucking franchise, you know?
Yeah,
this is the kind of thing.
The other parts of his posse, he could have actually. Here's the thing: since he said he was supposedly like a background character in Civil War, we could have actually shown him and the background, but no, they didn't do that. They just kind of just stuck him right in there. They just photoshopped him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey, they had to Forrest Gump him into the movie, because if they like cast an actor in a bit role, you'd immediately, if they cast Jake Gyllenhaal in a bit role, everybody would immediately know, first off, he's got to be important, and second, like, if for some reason, like, he doesn't come back and they recast the role, it'll be really obvious. Really obvious. They're getting into... The MCU has gotten into Arrowverse territory where they're, like, back building a bunch of things into the universe that weren't previously there, you know?
Eternals.
it like often never pays off. Didn't they like tease Harley Quinn and Arrow?
Yeah, Arrow had Harley Quinn teased.
Ugh. Of course they fucking did.
And the,
Oh,
you know,
let
the
me
fun
guess.
Voiced
thing
by
is,
Tara
that's
Strong.
fun.
Voiced by Tara Strong, of all people.
You know, funnily enough, I'm trying, and you know, funnily enough, it's like, yeah, the MCU has gotten to Arrowverse territory to the point where it's like, they got weird writing issues. Multiverse theory. Just throw in
Multiverse. It's our way to fix everything we fucked up.
like they wrote themselves into a corner, and they need a way to entice their audience, which unfortunately is also the same case for the DCEU after they canned Zack Snyder.
This is how we replaced Robbie Downey Jr. with Tom Cruise.
Okay, so it's not just my imagination. Cosmo's video quality is absolute dog shit. Like, look at this fucking buzzard here.
I think that might be the video thing on here.
Well, there's part of it, but that's part of it. But like looking at the vulture, there's like out from the drop shadow, you can see the aliasing. This is cut out. This is cut out really poorly. You didn't even. There's an anti-alias button in Photoshop, and there's an anti-aliasing plugin in Paint.net. Both of them are really good. You should use them, Cosmo.
And when did this video come out?
Okay, that's no fucking excuse. All right, so we're 15 seconds into the video, and already we're complaining.
All right, let's keep going.
We're off to a good start, folks.
Okay, I guess I'm clicking.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it.
2 is better. Tom Holland can suck my dick. So the other day I was like, okay,
He
fine.
can, yeah.
I haven't seen the Sam Raimi movies in a pretty long time. Maybe I need to refresh my opinions a little bit. So
You always do.
I rewatched the movies, and holy shit, these do not hold up.
In what way?
I have a pretty good track record when it comes to my opinions.
No, you don't.
I have a decent following of naive.
Even if that's a joke, that doesn't fucking work. Cause
no,
We laughed. So
your review of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman was atrocious. Like, you didn't get simple setup and payoff.
And then there's also the fact that it's like I feel like he's exaggerating the how people have felt about his review of Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm just like, dude, who actually said that Tom Holland can, suck it?
Even if I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say, he's got a lot of comments, so maybe.
Yeah, but here's the thing: why doesn't he show it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I have access to a comment manager as an uploader, or I can just search through all of the comments left on my videos, and I can find this stuff and take screenshots.
Yeah, why doesn't he do that to make his point seem stronger?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like how, like back in the day, Digibro used to discontinue comments on his older videos so he could interact with comments on the newer videos. Here's the fucking thing. I told him back in the day, like, you can mute comments from you can mute threads from videos. This was possible 10 years ago. And now
Isn't Digibro now a Digibra?
But did he actually?
Yeah, Digibro went gender fluid, and then he went fucking he went trans. So yeah, which is weird because he's got like one of the he has less credibility as a woman than fucking Philosophy Tube did, because Philosophy Tube had like, to this day, even after all the cosmetic surgery, still has has like one of the most masculine looking faces I've ever seen. And Digibro isn't even trying to hide like his gravelly baritone voice. You know.
Let's not forget his screeching in JoJo Part 5 on literally the first fucking episode. I'm like, can we just not hear you scream about literally everything? And plus, someone posted a video of the JoJo torture dance showing comments from Twitter calling him out on his bullshit. To the point where he went full protected mode.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like...
I have a question. Like, why is it always like these bigger YouTubers who know less about the platform than I do? Like, I have probably a combined 500 subscribers across all of my channels. And, like, I know the ins and outs of the platform better than a lot of big streamers and uploaders do, you know? Why is that? Am I the only moron who has enough time to go around and poking in the back end of this stuff? Is that why I'm not successful? Is because I actually try? Should I stop trying?
You need to make Minecraft videos. You need to play Poppy's Plates.
That's.
Like,
You need to become a PNG tuber.
Okay, let's.
You need to endorse.
Let's just keep going.
We need to make progress.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
37 seconds in, please.
11-year-olds, eccentric European weeaboos, and depressed alcoholic college students that seem to like and listen to my opinions. But I'm aware that I'm kind of pushing it this time. I'm just saying, I think the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies aren't as good as you remember. Now, I still love the...
You really are pushing it there, pal.
Movies, all 3 of them, to be exact. Yeah, you heard that right. But it annoys me that people look at the first 2 as some sort of superhero holy grail, when they're not, like, really that good anymore.
What do you mean by any...
Spider-Man 1 is the template that the MCU followed. There are several scenes in every Phase 1 MCU film that are lifted directly from Spider-Man 1.
There's phase of the MCU takes a lot of inspiration from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Like, a lot of it does. Like, there are some shots in Avengers that remind me of a tiny bit of Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Spider-Man is just hiding out while the Avengers are duking it out with the Chitauri. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get involved in this.
Yeah, no, I don't want this.
We remember the memes.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Remember the memes back from when Spider-Man wasn't part of the MCU?
I'd like to know what his opinions of this would be if, in fact, the deal to get Toby into the MCU had gone through.
Oh dear.
Because that was the thing. There's a deleted scene from Iron Man where if they'd actually managed to ink a deal with Sony, they would have had Toby in Avengers.
Oh shit.
Alright, let's keep going.
Let's go.
These movies and see why they really don't hold up and are kind of a little bit, just a little bit.
Why is the aspect ratio distorted?
Yeah, that was weird.
Why is it only distorted for Spider-Man 2?
I don't know.
Let's start with Spider-Man 1.
This video is already pissing us off. We're only a minute, 30 minutes.
Okay, corny narration by... Corny narration... Pause. Can we pause it?
You hate Tobey Maguire? This man is a douchebag.
Corny narration by Peter Parker. Oh dear God, the fucking horror. Have you ever read a motherfucking comic?
Clearly he hasn't.
Peter Parker talks to himself all the time. It's how he fucking works.
And the worst part is that I feel like that's literally why they gave him the...
His fucking...
You want to know what the worst part is? I feel like the reason why they gave him the AI Karen is have someone to talk to while he's musing to himself.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Granted, it's a dumb idea, but I get why they did it.
Yeah. I mean, I would have rather they just not and let him like have like a little bit of inner monologue, but you know, that's.
Meanwhile, Tom Holland tries his damnedest to bring in his dog Tessa.
But that's a thing straight from the fucking comics. You can't complain about them taking something from the source material like that. Like, okay, you can, but it makes you look like a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's just go on.
Yes.
Please.
We don't want this.
Peter Parker personality at first, but he never really gets over it. Even when he's Spider-Man, I still want to kick his ass because he's a huge dork.
Yes, that is Spider-Man.
That's literally Spider. That's the fucking point.
Peter Parker is a giant fucking nerd. I don't know if you noticed this from the glasses. I don't know if you noticed this from the glasses and the science-y shit and all that. Like,
he's a fucking dork.
That is
the
entire point of the character. You wouldn't
Tobey
think
Maguire, Andrew
twice.
Garfield, Tom Holland, Josh Keaton, all the Spider-Man and actors have portrayed Peter Parker as a fucking nerd. Even if Andrew Garfield does the whole cool guy thing, he's still a fucking nerd.
Yeah. Like he's got like kind of doofy hair, and he's always peering down either the lens of his camera or a phone. He's tinkering with fucking electronics and shit, you know. Well, like that's what.
I mean, we see Tom Holland just like messing around with his chemistry set to make new webbing, and sometimes that goes awry because he gets distracted.
Yeah, him messing around with his chemistry set. He's a fucking retro computer geek, a technology salvager. Or he picks up shit off the side of the road because it's because it's in perfect working order and some dipshit threw it away. You know, let me just say here, I'm a fucking nerd, and this is the exact same thing that I do. Like, every single one of these guys. You know?
Are you Spider-Man? I'm joking.
He couldn't really be Spider-Man. And how did he get all of his hair into that mask?
Yeah, I'd have to... I'm gonna steal the Batwoman costume. And then...
God, no.
And I'll walk into the nearest GameStop and say, "It's Batman."
Okay, so I don't know where you guys are at, but I'm at a minute and 48 seconds. He complains about Peter being weak.
Yeah.
He complains about Peter being weak and wimpy. It's like, yeah, that's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He's
literally Peter Parker.
It's almost like he's describing.
Like, how do you not know the fucking basic?
It's almost like Markus is describing exactly who Peter Parker is.
Fundamental basics of who Peter Parker is. He's
Wow.
a nerd.
Wow. Spider-Man is a fucking geek.
Fucking nerd.
Even the Spider-Man he likes is a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
keep. Yeah, we're at a minute 59, by the way. So if you want to catch up, we'll like 3, 2, 1.
Right.
Oh wait, I thought we were on watch together.
Yeah, we're on the watch together.
Wait,
Dylan was having some trouble, so.
Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
have mine
just
pulled
do
up
it for
separately.
him.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right.
Alright.
Kevin, you do the countdown and you hit play.
Yep.
3, 2.
Is just really bad. There's some actors doing a really good job in these movies, so you really notice when somebody isn't doing that great of a job.
Go fuck yourself, Marcus.
You sure you want to know? Also, at the mere 6-minute mark, we are shown the greatest character the
Fuck
entire
off.
trilogy. Willem Dafoe as Norman
Well,
Osborn.
I'm glad. I agree with that.
Let's look at how Harry introduces his dad.
I agree with you in that regard. Yes, Norman Osborn is the greatest character in the fucking trilogy. Yeah, but that's because of Willem Dafoe's great performance, and that performance would have no meaning whatsoever if it wasn't contrasted against like how like innocent and pure-hearted Peter Parker is. Even before Norman Osborn transforms into the Green Goblin, he's still a fucking dick.
Yeah, and his performance gets bumped up to 11 in No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Willem Dafoe really is like, he hasn't played the character in years, and he's still dedicated to that role.
Oh yeah.
Very.
And the thing is, Tobey Maguire perfectly carries across how like naive Peter is to how much of a dick Norman Osborn can be. You know? Oh, like he only sees the good parts of Norman, and Harry only sees the bad parts. And like as the two split over the course of the movie, like you start only seeing bad Norman, and it, like as the Goblin like bleeds through and takes over his entire life. And at the very end, Peter realizes, he realizes what's up with him, and he's like, no, I already had a father,
His name is Ben Parker?
Yep.
Oops, sorry.
That's alright. Alright. Go ahead. You can go ahead and do the countdown again, Kevin, because I don't trust this to respond to me.
The response to be fine.
Yeah, that's probably because you're clicking at the same time I am.
What?
I don't know why it keeps doing this.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
Dad. Peter may introduce my father, Norman Osborn. Why would you introduce your dad by his full name? That's kind of weird, but whatever. Also,
That's
high school students. Now, I know a lot of movies have people who aren't really playing their age, but this is kind of ridiculous. You see
Is
this
it?
guy? That's supposed to be their teacher. He's younger than they are. I gotta say though, I love how every line this man says is a whisper
That's-
and sounds
older.
very
Yeah, that happened in college, by the way. Yes, they are. Did you know that they're on a tour?
So anyway, Peter gets bitten by some
They
brown recluse and then
are?
dies peacefully and
Oh
asleep.
my
So in the next
God.
scene, we get the beginnings of Norman Osborn's supervillain origin story. And I gotta say, I do like the pacing in this movie for the most part. Things go along in a fairly well-balanced way. You see the beginning of Peter's origin, and then right after you see the beginning of the villain's origin.
Okay, what were we doing? Sorry, I was taking care of a tick from my cat.
Okay.
It just keeps going back.
Yeah, so, yeah. Marcus was saying some incredibly stupid things. Marcus, have you ever been to high school? Because some of the high schoolers around me, like, I see them at the gym. Like, every year there's a new crop of high schoolers come to the gym. Some of them are taller and broader and look older than they actually are. Or like, there's a guy there who's 6'5" and he's like 15 years old.
What the fuck?
Okay, I will say it was sort of a common thing to cast like 30-year-olds as like high schoolers. That actually was a common thing in older movies like this.
Yeah, I know that, but it's like, come on, you gotta complain about. You gonna complain about that? Fuck you. Like, it's not. I have seen. I went. At college, you had like this mix of teachers who looked like they were older than the universe. Some of them who were like middle-aged, your grandparents' age. And then there were a few who were like 40 or 50-something who looked like they just stepped out of like middle school, you know? Oh, and like, I don't know how old the guy who played the chaperone on that school trip was, but he legitimately does look like he's older than them. You know? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know what the fuck Markus is on.
I work with somebody who's like really short, and yeah, you could tell by her facial features that she's older than she looks.
Yeah, my sister looked like 14 until she hit 35.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people
It's called,
age
the
differently.
tropes are
I
called
get.
older than they look and younger than they look.
And not to mention, you know, black don't crack.
Yeah, it doesn't help that my sister's like
Marcus
4'11".
should know.
All right, let's continue.
Agreed.
3,
Scott pushed play.
2, 1.
Back and forth like this. However, his motivations aren't really that clear before he turns into a crazy monster person.
Yes, they
He's
are.
mad that they're taking the project back to formula. I'm a dumb internet movie boy, so I don't know what that means, but it seems like he needs to get his little science project done really quickly, or the army men won't be very happy with him.
Yes. That's the whole point of the... See, you know, you could have cut that, right? You can cut things in the writing stages of these reviews, right? You can do that.
You
But
can't.
no, he
I thought
doesn't.
it had to be all one and done.
You don't... It's not a live stream. What the fuck?
Anyway, continuing on. 3, 2, 1.
So we see the first scene of what I'm going to call corny Sam Raimi shit.
You said it like it's a fucking bad thing, asshole.
Why are there skulls? It looks like I added those.
Because he feels like he's dying.
It's fucking hilarious, and it only gets better from here.
Well, that's who
The next
directed
scene
Yeah.
this
is
film
funnier.
again. They
Norman
can't
goes
be
ahead-
the guy from Evil Dead, right?
Almost like this movie is directed by a horror movie director.
And like, you know, just trying to bring across, like, in visuals how how things are going through his head, you know? Like, come on, guys.
All right, let's keep going.
Wait.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Eden decides he's going to be the human test subject, and this fucking doormat just goes along with it.
He's a
Oh, I guess
doormat.
I'll
I
just
mean, I
clean
agree.
up the broken glass, asshole. Also, I think this little part is hilarious. Well, either way, the experiment goes horribly wrong, and he dies. What? This is a comedy movie. I don't care what anybody tells me. No.
He just killed that guy.
He's dead.
Try telling that to children who are seeing this movie for the first time.
That's like if Willem Dafoe started doing something like that to you, I get the feeling that it would scare the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Probably for damn good reason.
Mm-hmm.
He's the kind of person I would expect him to hide in my bathroom until I around the corner. He's like, ah!
Hello, Spider-Man.
Remember, Stewie had a Willem Dafoe under his bed once? Hey, you asleep yet?
Alright.
No?
Hey, you asleep yet? Just checking.
That was a good skit from Family Guy. Anyway, continuing on in 3, 2, 1.
Now you guys know the rest. I won't nitpick the rest of this first act because that would be way too easy. Like I could mention how Peter's just gonna walk to school, but then the bus just appears and he's like, "Oh no, wait, I'm supposed to run after the bus." Like what the fuck? You weren't.
He wasn't walking to school.
Excuse me?
He was catching up to Mary Jane, and he was gonna try to wait at the bus stop. Good God. How does he not pick up on this? Clearly, he never went to school. He clearly had been homeschooled.
I was homeschooled and I know better than this.
I was never homeschooled, and I wish I was.
Okay, so Shan Omar Huey is the guy who played the teacher in that scene. He is 2 years older than Tobey Maguire and 3 years older than Joe Manganiello. Which is not uncommon in high schools for them to have younger teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like teachers are like 20 or 30 at my
Mhm.
school.
Yeah.
Like,
He might have even just been a teacher's assistant, which would make sense if he was a,
Yep.
a college student training to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, go fuck yourself.
Anyway, let's keep going. 3, 2, 1.
What the fuck? You weren't even going to the bus stop. It's your own fault if you miss it now. And I'm most definitely not going to mention this unfortunately aged joke.
That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
What did
Ha!
you take it for?
Fucking
Gay.
face.
Gay?
I have respect now.
They actually cut this line out on some on something. They had this movie.
Yeah, I think it was on some British TV broadcast.
Ah!
Why is it always the international market this gets cut for?
Remember the international.
Because they don't like freedom.
Funnily enough, in the broadcast of the Simpsons movie, during that infamous scene where Bart is skateboarding in the nude, in the frame that in the bits that we're supposed to see Bart's genitals, that ends up being has a censor bar that reads "Go watch the international version."
I honestly,
The international version still has it censored.
I want to give the Simpsons movie credit. They had the balls to show Bart's balls.
Balls. Okay, let's keep going.
Balls.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
You're pretty homophobic. The one thing that does bug me is the pivotal scene where Uncle Ben gives his iconic speech. Because he's actually chastising Peter Parker for fighting Flash Thompson in a previous scene.
No, he's not. He literally says, look,
Right.
Flash probably deserved it, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah, he wasn't chastising him.
He just said, like, look, try not to go overboard. That was the whole point of it. You gotta...
Yeah. That's literally the whole point of with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally where it comes in.
Yeah. But,
Like, this is what we call missing the point.
This is unrelated, but I'm totally not downloading 100 different comic books right now. Totally not.
All right.
Asking me for advice on what's the best run of each character, and I'm like, you'd have to go ask somebody else about that because I don't read a lot of comics.
Hey, go ahead and totally not send me a whole bunch of them. Wink, wink.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1.
Except Peter was fighting in self-defense. And Uncle Ben's like, oh, well, you should
Yes,
have done that,
that-
just because you can beat
Never mind. Just keep going. We already talked about
because
this.
you can beat him up doesn't mean you
Yeah, we
should.
already talked
so what
about
does Peter
this.
do with his advice? He spends the rest of his life beating people up. The context just don't
Fucking
make
idiot
no
reviewer.
Oh my fucking
Jesus
god.
fucking
Like
Christ.
beating people up.
Yes, there's a reason why Mahler goes through his reviews linearly. Like, he goes through the entire movie in linear order. He doesn't skip around like you are. Because you're cherry picking. Okay.
He's part where Peter let some bad guy go.
So I have
and then Uncle Ben died.
right here, yeah, I was about to say, I have right here a book called The Tangled Web of Spider-Man, which does exactly, and I do mean fucking-exactly, what he says. It's a movie novelization of The Amazing Spider-Man 1, but only part of it. It goes straight from him getting the powers to him being Spider-Man. There's no in-betweeny bit about Uncle Ben's death.
Uncle Ben's death.
This movie doesn't do that. This movie shows everything. What
Yeah.
did you think this was fucking Turn Off the Dark? Did you watch Turn Off the Dark instead of this by accident?
Oh dear God.
Because Turn Off the Dark is the one.
He wasn't watching that. He was covering his eyes and saying, na 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 na, while
Yeah,
I could believe that,
didn't
too.
he get his powers from like the spider goddess and turn off the dark?
Yes, and she wanted to fuck him, and there was this Greek choir.
What? I don't know what's worse.
And then Green Goblin turned into Elton John halfway through the musical.
Please tell me Green Goblin please tell me Norman Osborn's ghost came back from the dead to rap at Spider-Man.
No, he just assembles the Sinister Six and plays on a piano with a boa and star glasses, and he basically acts like Elton John throughout like the last half of the fucking musical.
What the fuck?
It's
No wonder Deadpool made a joke about that.
yeah. But it also doesn't have like any reason for Peter to be, because like the whole reason that Peter is beating people up, as you say, because he didn't beat up somebody who was committing a crime, and he could have. Did you fucking miss that? Did you miss the whole point of the power and responsibility thing?
And that resulted in Uncle Ben dying. So it's like, no shit.
Like of course, if you skip from Uncle Ben dying to him being Spider-Man, it's not going to make any sense. Like this is why Mahler goes through his movie reviews completely linearly, and people give him shit about that. And people say, "Oh, it makes them longer than it should be." And it's like, if you're going through it linearly, you're not missing shit.
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1.
Commence. However, on an unrelated note, I think it's time to bring up something that I love about these movies, and that's the extras. I'm serious.
Yes,
Look in the
I agree.
background of any shot. And
You were just complaining about the extras.
Yes, of course, he complains about the extras, then he says he loves the extras. At least Nostalgia Critic was consistent about his complaints about the extras.
Yeah.
Agreed.
As stupid as they are, he's at least consistent. Markus here is not consistent. He's fucking stupid.
I love the extras. Like the extras give this movie so much character. I love it.
Yeah, it gives all the
new
Spider-Man
Doctor
movies
Strange had
characters.
amazing extras.
Oh yeah, that's a Sam Raimi staple right there. But
And remember, Spider-Man isn't actually swinging around in New York City in the MCU movies because they didn't shoot it in New York.
no, it's some combination of Boston and California.
Meanwhile, Homer Simpson's like, no!
Boston clam chowder. We gotta go to Boston and get some clam chowder.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1.
just find a random person. You'll get a whole new level of entertainment out of these movies. In this movie, you'll see background characters that don't give a shit, people who have no idea where they are, even main characters have a chance of devolving into idle sims when they're not the focus of the scene.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Like, that shows that there's actually shit going on in the world other than what you're seeing on the screen. That's part of the reason why the MCU Spider-Man films are so bad. It's because, like, the only thing that's ever going on is whatever the camera is focused on, really. You know? Like, come the fuck on, guys.
But here's the thing. At the very least, Zendaya was a decent background character.
Yeah, like, she was...
Yeah.
She was low-key stalking Peter.
Like, that was like a...
Before she became,
the best.
Even before she became the love interest, it's like, she wants the D.
It's like Peter just starts listening. I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I got no privacy. Whoa. And he turns around and she disappears behind a corner. You know what we need? We need to send.
What?
She wants his little Peter. We need to.
I think given the fact that every Spider-Man suit highlights the figure of each Spider-Man actor, I'd say he's got quite... I'd say Tom Holland would probably have quite the package.
Okay, so, Low Ping on Twitter once posted a picture of Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, where they'd like he had photoshopped Toby's crotchal area to be probably about twice the size of his arm. Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, before this gets any more gay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
3, 2, 1.
If you aren't aware by now, this movie has a certain flow to it. We see Peter do stuff, and then we see Norman do stuff, and then Peter and Norman meet up again, and the whole thing goes on like that until the movie's over. And this works mostly because, like I said, Norman Osborn is fucking hilarious. Maybe it's just me, but every scene with him makes me laugh.
Why?
Why? Yeah.
Fuck. Like, I know humor is subjective and everything, but like,
Come on.
this is the face of a mass murderer here. Let's be real.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Let's keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
3, 2, 1.
He could be doing something completely normal, and it's still hilarious to me. It's like Willem Dafoe is an alien pretending to be a human.
Peter, the science
What?
board.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
They didn't.
I don't know what to say to that. I am without words.
Marcus, come the fuck on. We're not even at Spider-Man 2 yet.
He is an egotistical motherfucker. He thinks he's above like most of the world.
He thinks he's Jesus Christ Superstar.
He actually played Jesus in a movie once. He also played the Antichrist.
Oh my god, I was fucking kidding!
Yeah, he.
Let's keep going.
Please.
3.
Okay, yeah, I'll save the explanations for later.
Yeah, please.
I am now going to share some of my favorite moments from Norman Osborn in this movie. I like the reaction he has when Harry offers Peter to work for him. He looks so happy. Look at his face.
Yeah.
I don't need to describe this part. It kind of speaks for itself. I love how his whole plan to recruit Spider-Man is to drug him, kidnap him, tie him up, and have a dad talk with him on a rooftop about how New York...
Well,
Just there. We saw no rope.
yeah, I was about to say, where are the ropes,
Yeah,
Marcus?
He was never. He's not. Did he not watch this fucking movie? He's not even tied up. That doesn't make any fucking
Hang on.
sense. He's not tied up.
Didn't accomplish anything. No jobs, freelance.
No. Here's the thing.
Board
Marcus
members
saw-
killed.
Marcus mistook this for the Toho Spider-Man stuff, where Norman would just pull out the spider web, and then it shoots out a
Good.
net.
Literally.
And then the next shot, suddenly a net goes up. You guys have seen some of that shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am an emissary from hell. I am Spider-Man.
So Spider-Man.
I had drafted a whole skit where after like an hour of files and Miguel just pointing at each other, all of the post credit scenes and into the Spider-Verse. They're like, okay, we're good now. Then suddenly Japanese Spider-Man shows up and it's like, and then he just summons his robot for no reason.
Yeah, okay. So I have the movie novelization by Peter David right here. It doesn't say anything about any ropes in the book, and there's kind of a scene, or a shot rather, of Peter reaching up to make sure that his mask is in place. Shows you that is... I just knocked some Duracells on the floor. Shows you that his hands are not bound, Markus.
Yeah. By the way, you need to change the description.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Already off to a great 8 start, folks.
Woo! Good work, team. Good work. We win.
So, okay. So anyway, let's keep going. 3, 2, 1.
Yorkers are dicks and they're not worth saving.
Right.
I like how he dresses up as an old lady, complete with a stock sound effect. Just so he can get the jump on Spider-Man. And then the scene ends with this great line.
No one says no to me!
Sometimes he
Okay, I'm at the part where he's riffing on Aunt May. Like, fuck you.
Okay, we're still back at 7:13.
Wait,
And here's-
why would you rip on Aunt May?
Oh
You
yeah.
don't do that. You don't.
No.
You don't do that. No,
Yeah.
you don't do
And here's the
that.
thing.
No. Fucking assholes.
I imagine that was your reaction when Aunt May bit it in No Way Home. What? The movie's been out for weeks, and it's been in on 4K for almost as long. I think.
And it leaked before that. Great
Yeah.
job with OpSec, Sony.
I think spoilers are available on the table. Anyway, hey, let's keep going. 3,
Please.
2, 1.
shows up for no reason, like this jump scare. However, a character in these movies
Have
that
you,
I like is Aunt May. Aunt May has the
Okay, allow me to introduce you to the concept of Sam Raimi being a horror director, and this is as much a horror film as it is a superhero one.
I mean, how the
Really?
director. I mean, how the director of Aquaman was a horror director, James Wan,
Mm.
and the director
yeah.
of Shazam was a horror director. And guess what? There were quite a
all
number
the
of
horror directors become comic book directors.
And here's the thing: the Shazam horror director actually made some pretty good horror scenes in that movie.
Peter Jackson used to be a horror director. So did James Cameron. James Cameron should be brought back for the next Alien movie, by the way. Fuck
Don't forget
Ridley
James
Scott.
Gunn. James Gunn was.
Oh
a
yeah,
horror
James.
director.
Well, James Gunn was part of Trauma.
I know, but his first one was what was it? Sliver.
Slither, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it about a snacky snack?
I think so. I've never watched it.
They have a bunch of worm things. I've seen it. I like it. It's a good film. It has some good effects.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
It reminds me of. I think it's based off Tremors, but it's a lot more different than that. Or inspired. I mean, yeah, inspired.
Anyway,
by
so Cosmo not being objectively wrong about Aunt May.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Cosmo. I'm gonna preemptively
worst
say that.
pep talks in this movie.
I can't help thinking about the last thing I said to him. He tried to tell me something important, and I threw it in his face.
Wow, she's so wise. Aunt May is supposed to be Peter's moral compass, and in these
Fuck
movies,
you.
she's kind of rude. But I'll get into that in the next movie, where she is just the
What?
The next movie?
How? You went on this thing. You were saying like, oh, she's so rude. The thing you see is her trying to cheer Peter up after.
Yes, exactly.
He wishes Uncle Ben was there. He feels like he's responsible. She's trying to make him realize, as like, look, even if you know, you didn't say all the right things, you still loved him. That's what counts, and he loved you. That's what like you loved him, and I know he loved you. That's the rest of the fucking. Yeah.
I want to die.
Anyway, let's continue 1, 3,
Please.
2, 1.
Just the biggest asshole.
Ow!
So anywho,
To people who deserve it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
The greedy banker who just denied her the loan she needs to save her house. Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I would slap him too. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Anyway.
second half of this
Funny
movie
how
makes
he
me
ignores that
realize we are
concept.
now watching a completely different movie. And I couldn't be happier, honestly.
What?
This movie is so wild, and I think that's why everybody loves these movies. In the second half of the movie, we're also introduced to the actual best character, J. Jonah Jameson. Even when I read
Yes.
the comics,
Okay, sure. Oh, fuck you, Steam. Why is... Why- Steam keeps popping up.
Is arguably one of the best casting things of all time in this franchise.
So much so, they brought him back in,
The MCU
excuse me, in the MCU.
And made him an Alex Jones. for
And in
Raw.
the cartoons for the most part.
Well, they brought back his appearance, but not the...
Alex Jones looking motherfucker. Or thinks that you're Spider-Man, Peter.
Why is
Where
J.
would you
Jonah
get an
Jameson's
idea?
eyes crossed in this comic?
I don't know.
No, they're not crossed, he's boss-eyed. It's going... It's like the opposite of eyes crossed.
And meanwhile, my cat is using me as a makeshift pillow.
Aww. Pet it.
He doesn't deserve to be pet. He likes to beat up woodland critters and eat them.
That's nature.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to.
He has
Yeah, I
plenty.
know, but
He has
they-
plenty of food, but he thinks he's a tiny tiger.
Oh yes,
Cats
the
literally
tiny
do
tiger.
look like this though.
Even the yes, the tiny tiger who.
There's this rabbit that kept harassing my dogs. One of it caught its baby, brought it upstairs, dropped it on the ground. It's like, look what I killed.
My dog, okay, so rabbits have this thing where they'll like stay away from the babies during the day. And we have rabbits. Well, that's to try and keep predators away from them. And we have rabbits, and our ducks and our dog thought that the rabbits had just abandoned them. So the mama duck, the big mama duck, would like sit on the rabbits to keep them warm and bring them food and things like that. And my dog would like pick them up and like try to bring them to us so that we could take care of them. We had to get him to stop doing that. We had to get him to stop doing that because they were dying of shock, though, because they're getting picked up by a giant dire wolf, even though, well, to us he's like the size of a basketball.
Poor rabbit.
Yeah.
And anyway, let us
Poor
keep
thing.
going.
That's so
I
sad.
hear his voice in my head. Not only is his performance good, but it's like his scenes have a completely different writing staff. His lines are legitimately funny in this.
Mr. Jameson, Spider-Man.
Hoffman?
Yeah?
Yeah.
To the point where I'm pretty sure he's making some of this stuff up.
Spider-Man wasn't attacking the city. He was trying to save it. That's slander.
It is not. I resent that. Slander is spoken. Print is my
He
Yeah.
actually goes out of his way to get it right.
I have the movie novelization, which is based on the original shooting script for this movie. No, he's not. J.K. Simmons is not making these lines up. They're written into the script like that.
Yep.
I have all the movie novelizations of these films, by the way.
You are a fucking nerd.
Yes, we've already established that.
Anyway, 3, 2.
Also, do you guys remember that Elizabeth Banks is in these movies?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
Yes.
remembers that.
No.
So once the festival scene happens, we get a really good idea of how much this movie has completely lost it. Where before the special effects were mostly hidden or just briefly shown, this movie is now a CGI nightmare. And if you think I'm being mean to a movie that came out in 2002, let's see what a real critic
nightmare.
has to say.
You know, my thumb is down on this movie, but it's sort of a split decision.
Yeah, Roger Ebert was a fucking moron. I'm glad we've established that, Marcus.
Yeah, what?
Guy who...
He's not a good critic at all.
Roger Ebert gave Night of the Living Dead shit. He gave the Friday the 13th movies shit. Like, not even the bad Friday the 13th movies. Like, he gave the original shit. He said, oh, your profits truly are blood money, I think it was. And it's... Come the fuck on, guys. Like, Roger Ebert was a fucking moron.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue on.
When you see Spider-Man flying through the skies and leaping between buildings, he looks like an artificial cartoon character. He moves too fast, without the weight and presence of flesh and blood.
See, they even thought it looked like shit back then, so leave me alone. This part here always
One stupid critic thought this.
And here's the thing. It looks worse now. Like, because they use a combination of CGI and practical effects in these movies, it becomes almost seamless. And you get, like, if you have a thing called willing suspension of disbelief, you can be like, oh, okay. Like, this looks kind of fake, but I get what they're going for here, you know?
Yeah.
But with, like, the MCU Spider-Man, they have practical effects on set that get painted over in post.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
Like, there was a completely different suit in Civil War that actually looked really fucking good, that they painted over with the dog shit one they used for Homecoming.
Okay, yeah. He, like, his webs, like, popped out, like,
There was raised texture to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like, they had, like, I'm like, excuse me, I like that suit better.
Like, here's the thing, I'll take this over Tony Stark's head hovering in the void like he's wearing a green screen suit on the set of a fucking PBS show.
Yeah, because here's the thing, that Tony Stark the thing is the Iron Man suit used to be practical, but then Robert Downey Jr. got claustrophobia, so...
Well, even in Iron Man 2, you know, they had physical parts of the suit. You know, they had a shoulder piece and a helmet and all that, and they'd pop that into place, and then they could pop that off. You didn't have, like, a full metal and polymer combination suit like they did in Iron Man 1, you know?
Yeah.
But it also wasn't 100% CG like it is in fucking Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, you know?
Well, the thing is that at that point, the technology kind of advanced to where it's just, like, all nanotech.
Yeah.
Infinity War and Endgame, I can give it some credit, because it actually looks pretty good there.
Yeah, but Civil War, it was actually just, like a slightly updated suit from Age of Ultron.
Yeah, and Civil War also has no excuse, because Man of Steel had a similar thing, where, like, they had, like, one of the actors would be in the practical suit, and like the rest would be in CGI, and they'd use, like, a partial shoulder piece for close-up sets, for close-up shots, and then everything else would be CGI. And Man of Steel, it's photorealistic. Civil War came out 3 years later. What the fuck was its excuse? We'll get to that.
Yeah, in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, let's continue.
Bothered me too. See, Goblin has these fucking bombs that turn people into skeletons. Yeah, for real. Anyway, he throws it at this balcony, and Harry and MJ are also on this balcony. Like,
They're on the other part of the balcony. Yes, because the bomb is closer to them, Marcus. It's almost like proximity is a thing.
Yeah.
Proximity sounds too complicated.
Not only kills them, it fucking vaporizes them. But why didn't MJ get hit?
They were on the other side of the balcony. She is far... She has a stone wall between her and the fucking guys. Like, and she's on a different plane from them because she's falling.
Are you sure this guy actually watched the film and didn't just zoom through it to?
He
try
is
and find
literally
it?
using the pictures of the scene that debunk his point on the fucking screen right now.
Jesus Christ! Oh my god!
Anyway,
You gotta be like really close to it. I don't know. Now I'm gonna show you guys a brief clip, and it showcases exactly why I love this movie and why I think this movie is a huge joke. Everything that this movie symbolizes in my mind is in this clip.
Hello, my dear.
It's Spider-Man!
This clip has everything. Goofy-ass Willem Dafoe acting, screaming women, which Sam Raimi loves, by the way, but I'll get into that later, and hilarious extras.
It's Spider-Man!
how is it hilarious extra when she's like, "Oh, there's Spider-Man right there."
I can't remember how that scene was edited because it's been 6 weeks since we watched it, but I get the feeling he might have cut something there. I'm not gonna outright accuse him of doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't really cut. Yeah, it was actually kind of cut like that, but still.
Okay.
Okay. Talk about.
I can
check
check.
with Sam-
I can fucking check right now.
Feel
Okay,
free.
talk about Sam.
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna check. Alright.
Okay, go ahead, Dylan.
Okay, so he's talking about Sam Raimi. Liking screaming women in his film. It's like it's almost like he's a horror director.
And a screaming woman is kind of some kind of staple of horror films.
Yeah,
Screams in general are a trope in horror movies. Because
it's almost like
it sets the scene. It's like, oh my god! You know?
it's almost like he directed a horror movie or something, huh?
It's almost like he directed the greatest trilogy of horror films in the history of horror movies.
Yes.
He actually figured to end it on the third one.
Yeah, as opposed to, like, Alien, which went to shit after the third one, but they kept making it. Or Predator, after...
Yeah, man.
Which shat the bed
I'm-
Ed in the second.
I'm back.
movie.
I'm back.
Yeah.
He did not.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay, I was mistaken. I'll take the L on that one.
Hold the L. Hold this L.
Yeah, I
hold
will.
that L real hard. Hold it tight, and then give it back to him once we get back to the video.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that'll be easy. That'll be real fucking easy because I have a feeling he's gonna fuck up again soon.
Anyway, let's continue on.
Did not edit that clip to be any faster. That's just the pace of these movies. This festival scene is just really a masterpiece. I can cut out 5 seconds at any point of this whole scene, and you have unintentional comedy gold.
Hold it right there! I surrender!
The scene ends with a nice 1-2.
Unintentional? That was an actual joke! That was supposed to be funny!
Done. You can give him back the L now.
Okay, Marcus, here you go. What the bonk?
No, you just throw a sensu bean at him.
Yeah, that was a joke.
That's a joke. That is an intentional joke.
Here I thought I was autistic. Jesus.
I'm extremely
I'm
autistic. This guy takes the ball game.
I am diagnosed with autism, and even I gotta say that.
Are we all? Do we all have autism?
I've never seen a doctor about it, but who knows?
Anyway, let's continue.
We get one of the funniest lines in the movie.
Little plot twist, bro.
And then Peter Parker kidnaps Mary Jane.
We're gonna
and
play
cracks
with
shoes
trains,
on for
boys.
doing
Kidnaps Mary Jane. He gets her away from the immediate danger.
Yeah.
That's kidnapping.
Also, like,
Places her somewhere where she could get down.
the villain, like, swearing revenge on the hero as he leaves after the hero foiled his plan. Yeah. What, did you just want him to fly away silently?
Perhaps.
Spider-Man is just Superman now. Just
I showed Alex
Bonk.
the college humor skit of Superman and Batman, and proposing a quote-unquote alliance, and well.
Oh right.
I'm now picturing the universe in which Clark Kent's pod crashed somewhere in Queens, and Peter Parker had a brother.
Had a brother who was better than him in every way.
And both
shape,
of them, and like Uncle Ben, and tries to teach them both about power and responsibility, and then somebody fucks up, and the two of them just like go chasing after the bad guy, and Clark just destroys the fuck. I don't know why I'm calling him Clark. He'd probably be called like Richard or something. But Kal-El just destroys the fucking.
Wait. So he would be called Dick?
Super Dickory to the rescue!
Super Dick to the rescue!
Oh. Anyway, let's continue.
You don't think she needs to like go to the hospital because she was trapped under fucking rubble, and people have.
No, she wasn't. She was clinging to a goddamn rock wall as it was falling. It was a rock balcony.
He's never watched this fucking film, I swear to God.
He could see this earlier in the edit. What the fuck?
Jesus fucking
That's
Christ.
obviously a mannequin in a Spider-Man costume, and her hair is blowing in the wrong way. Anyway, let's look at more goofy scenes.
Yeah.
How would you?
You know, mannequin in a Spider-Man costume. Okay, whatever the fuck. Hair blowing in the wrong way. Hey, you kind of can't tell, and it's not. This isn't Black Widow. Okay, where you clearly have. You have.
I cannot unsee the wire when Yelena blows up the aircraft that Dreykov was taking off in. She's like, "This was fun." No.
They didn't fix that for the home video release either.
No. Oh, and Scarlett Johansson, could you not have gone back for another take on that no line?
Could we maybe have dubbed it in? Could we do something? Anything? Could we make a better movie, Disney?
Nope.
Apparently not.
A better movie? That would actually involve actual time and effort.
Even a popular female YouTuber has given shit to Black Widow's movie.
I feel like everyone has, because that movie was
She says that it takes something that seems so simple and yet makes it needlessly complicated.
Oh yeah, that's a damn good point.
Yep. Anyway, let's continue.
Oh, and they also.
This movie is so fucking funny. It's pretty clear that this movie is the.
What?
Norman is wondering who the voice is, where the voice that's speaking to him is coming from.
His fucking brain is breaking down. His evil self is talking to himself, and he's panning around the room. Like, it's called building tension. It's not that difficult.
Marcus? Oh.
What are you doing to me, Marcus?
Sorry about that. I accidentally unplugged my headset. Marcus does not understand the fundamentals of filmmaking.
No,
Neither does Jeremy Scott.
Neither. No. All right, let's just keep going.
The goofiest thing to be put on film in the year 2002. I mean, the climax has the villain literally holding the love interest in one hand and a metal box of children in the other. And
it's called a sadistic choice, Marcus.
This invented the trope.
Yeah. It's the fucking
Spider-Man.
It's the fucking codifier.
Heroes are. This is why only fools are heroes. Because you never know when some lunatic will come along with a sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children. Make your choice, Spider-Man, and see how a hero is rewarded. And we are who we choose to be. Now choose. There, that should tell you everything. And Willem Dafoe, delivers this perfectly.
We are who we choose to be, Spider-Man. Now choose!
And it's so filled with tension and emotion, all that jazz, and Markus is shitting all over it.
Continue, please.
And Spider-Man has to pick which one he's gonna save. If something this stereotypical happened in a superhero movie today, there would be public outcry about how silly it is.
Yes, because this film was the codifier for that trope.
Even
Jesus
when the
fucking
trope
Christ.
was, even when the trope was done, even when before or this trope was codified by this movie, guess what? There were sadistic choices all over in comics too. Or even animated media. There was a sadistic choice in Batman Forever, or save the current love interest, or save the sidekick whose family he failed. Granted, that movie was shit, but still.
And like that is not inherently a bad thing. Villains will do shit like that.
Yes, Lex Luthor has done that to Superman, and with Lois Lane and Lana Lang.
That's how you create a little thing called dramatic tension.
Remember when villains were villains?
And not just, oh,
Like,
whatever
I
they
have
did
a
to Loki.
tragic backstory. Feel sympathy for me, even though I did horrible things.
I ain't gonna feel sympathy for that.
Well, I was an orphan and a CIA agent, and I overthrew nations and killed innocent people, and now I'm gonna do that again because I got mistreated as a fucking child. Well, because my dad was a traitor to a fucking country and tried to start a war. Fuck you, Killmonger.
I was actually thinking Killmonger when you talked about that backstory.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue on.
Yet the funniest line in the whole movie, and I mean it, out of everything I've shown you guys, this line is my favorite. I have memorized this speech. It is truly iconic to me as one of the greatest and cheesiest superhero movie monologues.
Spider-Man! This is why only fools are heroes. Because you never know when some lunatic will come along with the sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children.
Okay.
If I wanted to bang my head against a wall so hard that it would create a hole in it.
I had a bottle of Coca-Cola when I started, and I went through that pretty early. Yeah, I'm wishing I had that to just take a drink right now. And let's see, I've still got some water left. That'll do.
He made fun of he's making fun of one of the best lines of dialogue in this movie.
Because villains are not known for giving like big dramatic speeches and making the heroes make some kind of sadistic choice.
I had a thing of snickerdoodle cookies I was gonna save for a few days, but I'm so mad that I ate all of them in rage.
Anyway.
Truly a masterpiece. As a regular superhero movie, I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. But as
It's like a 9 out of 10 at worst.
He didn't even talk about the final act!
He didn't even talk about the final act. He talked about the bridge scene, and then that's it.
Kidding me?
Not even
You skipped so much.
He spent nearly half this movie. He spent nearly half the video raving on Spider-Man 1. Who knows how many details he's gonna miss in Spider-Man 2 and 3?
Right. Okay. So yeah, he totally missed out on the part where the theme of the movie comes around. Where Peter Parker realizes who his father really was. Uncle Ben.
Similarly, the Nostalgia Critic missed that point, although he was a bit more, okay, I'll say a bit less dumb about it.
Okay, so where are you guys at?
Or at the 6 out of 10, the fucking, yeah, 12-19.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there.
Alright, so let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy,
Hate this
tens
fucking
across the
video.
board, baby. Comedic gold.
Don't tell Harry.
What? What? No! No! Fucking. No! Are you fucking. I hate this fucking.
And like I said,
That wasn't Green Goblin's last word. That was Norman Osborn's last word. He's Norman Osborn asked Peter, don't tell Harry, and the reason why he's asking him is because he knows Harry loved him and has this positive image of his. It doesn't have exactly the most positive image of his father in his head, but he still loves him, and he wants him to not remember like the horrible, shitty things he did. He wants him to be able to remember like the good things that he did for him. Because like Norman did do good things for Harry. Harry just didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to them. You know?
yeah.
Like in the book goes into a bit more detail about this because like Norman was trying to get, and this is also a thing from the comics as well. Norman tried to get Harry some some private education, and Harry kept getting himself kicked out of private schools, and he tried to get him private tutors to get him to work, and eventually he just had to send him to the public school because nobody really wanted to work with Harry. He actually gives a shit about his son. He's just a little bit fucking a little bit of a fucking douche, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Yep.
So now we've arrived at the Citizen Kane of Spider-Man movies, or so people say. Spider-Man 2.1. That's the one I have.
Oh, so he actually reviewed the best version of this movie.
Okay.
That's a good start.
At least he's reviewing the extended cut, but you know.
The best version, which includes J.K. Simmons in the Spider-Man suit.
I love that scene so much.
Anyway, I love this movie to pieces. I know Alex doesn't like this movie. Granted,
God, you don't like this movie?
Nah, it's like if it wasn't for the MCU Spider-Man films, it would not be. It would be at the bottom of my Spider-Man and
Man,
this is just like
I like
rankings.
That's a huge L, my man.
Like, it's not as bad as The Empire Strikes Back, but it's
Oh my god!
it's still.
I'm handing you this L back. I'm handing you this L back.
He's getting 2 L's.
Oh, I'll be able to pass
True
those.
L.
I'm gonna be giving those to Marcus very quickly, I assume.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Us
Yeah,
giving you L's does nothing. So you'll just be handing them back.
Anyway, let's keep going. Oh wait, Dylan, you're.
Wait. So are you saying Spider-Man 2 is the lowest in the trilogy?
I kind of. I mean, I've gone back and my opinion on Spider-Man 3 has kind of soured over the years because, like, I see the mistakes that Sony made behind the scenes, and I see exactly that being recreated in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So, I'm of two minds of this. Like, the mistakes of this movie were exacerbated in Spider-Man 3, but and Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But at the same time, like, it does have a lot of really good stuff in it.
Like
It's just, yeah, it's just married to a bunch of stuff that I hate. Yeah, it's married to a bunch of stuff that I hate. Like
how the hero gets dunked on throughout the film.
well, I hate how he lost his powers, and I hate the fucking MJ and John Jameson the third thing. Cause
Okay, but the whole thing with him losing his powers, the whole point of that was that it was a mental thing. He did not like.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
Well, it's also related to the, him being cucked by Jonah's son. I hate that part.
He really wanted to tell
yeah,
Mary Jane or somebody.
There's so
Especially
much more
especially since Mary Jane figured it out at the end of the first movie, and then she doesn't fucking get it in this film.
Okay.
Figured it out.
Yeah, I have always wondered about that, but the thing is, him losing his powers is a culmination of all the stress he's been going through.
I get that.
He feels like his life is falling apart, and goes through this existential crisis,
which is pointed out by him in Way
No,
Home.
I think Spider-Man 2 on a thematic level is a perfect film. Honestly, I will die on that hill. I love that movie to death.
Raindrops
Like not
keep
just from
falling on
a
my
nostalgic, not just from a nostalgic standpoint, but as somebody who enjoys these.
Oh, and remember,
I mean, I hated this movie when it came out, so.
And here's the thing, Alex. They use footage from this movie for the Bully Maguire memes.
Yeah, I can't. You've made your point. This film is a masterpiece.
No,
That's the one I have. I'm sorry. Now, while the point of this video is to bring up the crummy aspects of this movie and kind of laugh at it, I gotta admit that it's 100% undeniable that this is the best movie out of the trilogy. It's way funnier than the first one. It has some good emotional moments, and it's pretty exciting to watch. But it still has dumb shit. So, let's start off with another Peter Parker narration.
I'm Spider-Man. Give me a job to do.
Let's just go back to the. Let's go back to the rant we had earlier in the video about how, that's part of what Spider-Man is about.
Hey, look, it's
Wow, really?
Hey, look, it's
I would have never known.
It's Asif.
From the Last Airbender.
Yeah, it's Asif Manvi, a member of the Daily Show cast who's actually really good at acting, unlike John Oliver.
Funnily enough, Asif Manvi, he was probably one of the few actors in The Last Airbender who actually gave a shit.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, Shyamalanized the child actor who played Aang.
Yeah. Well, Shyamalan was also promised a much bigger budget than he got, and I think he stopped giving a shit.
He tried adapting the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender in an hour and a half.
Well, Paramount said that it was supposed to be a trilogy. The first season was supposed to be a trilogy, and Shyamalan was promised 3 movies and a giant budget, and they said, no, you got to do the first season in 1 movie and make it with like much less, and I think he stopped giving a shit. So, that's unprofessional on his part, but I can understand part of why it turned out the way it did. But
and let's never forget UA of the Water Tribe with the
imprisoning the fucking earthbenders in a rock quarry.
Which, by the way, you know where they were imprisoned on the show?
On a fucking boat.
A metal boat.
Yeah, somewhere they couldn't.
Where they couldn't bend and earth except for the coal that was delivered to them, and even then, their spirits were long broken to the point where they're like, what do we do with this? Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, that movie's a whole nother kettle of fish.
Yeah, and we'll have to watch the show at some point, because you haven't seen it.
Yes, I will. I have some of the show on DVD. I will need to get the Blu-rays, though, because the DVDs are...
I have all the show on DVD, and unfortunately Legend of Korra on Blu-ray.
Why do you have that?
Probably because it came...
The only thing that's good... The only thing that's good about Korra is that she's hot, and that's it.
No, it was because I felt like wanting to give that show a fair shot. I'll probably do that at some point, but...
If I ever get the... if I am ever hired by Nickelodeon to make a Legend of Korra sequel or tie-in or anything, she is going to be the straightest girl in the history of comics.
And have the biggest bust and biggest ass of them
I am retconning
Rock.
the gays.
Rock hard abs, and she's got a steady boyfriend and or husband and like 5 kids.
Her girlfriend is dead. It never happened.
No,
Anyway.
she's also married to a man.
Anyway, let's continue.
Seemed like I did for the last movie, but this movie's kind of hard to do that for, and I'd also be here for a really long time.
That pizza place is
I'm
real.
trying to go to bed.
Mhm.
It follows a little bit of a formula, but not the same one as the last movie. In this movie, everything revolves around Peter Parker being shit on. And I know shitting on him is kind of half of the whole thing about being Spider-Man, but that's exactly my point. It should be half of the story. Rewatching this movie is really frustrating because everybody is an asshole. Mary Jane is an
That's
asshole.
the point!
Aunt May is not an asshole to Peter. She's the only one who's remotely fair to him in the entire movie.
Okay,
That
she wasn't.
too.
Yeah.
More than fair.
Okay, Aunt May, she
And plus,
wasn't being
Peter
an
literally,
asshole.
and plus Peter flat out told her what happened. To
What
Uncle
happened
Ben.
to Uncle Ben? And she got up. She was in shock, and she left the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And then she finally.
Okay, and then
with that.
okay, and then when he came back, when she was moving the boxes, right? She
Yeah.
gave the best speech, like in the movie. One of the best scenes in the entire trilogy. Talking about what it means to be a hero.
And then Peter just
Yeah,
goes
it's like
and
no,
breaks his back.
Aunt May was the one anchor for Peter Parker. Like,
Poor
she
Peter
is far
Parker.
from
No
she is
mother,
far from being an
no
asshole. Like
father, and no bitching. You're so alone. And then Peter's like, why do you have to remind me how shit my life is?
okay, if you want to talk about Aunt May being an asshole, they made her one in like the recent comics. Where Mary Jane was cheating on Peter. It could be a whole lot worse.
God, I want to fucking.
Isn't the recent comics peeling off her skin and having someone replace her or something?
That was stupid when they did it with the Joker. You know, I thought Superior Spider-Man was bad, but then I went back and read it, and it was like, wow, Superior Spider-Man is actually really fucking good because it explores like Otto is like figuring out that his arch nemesis has been holding back this whole goddamn time. He could have fucking killed him at any point in time, but he didn't. And he does all this stuff, and he like learns how to be a hero. Oh, and then he gives Peter his body back at the end of the whole thing, because Peter's been this persistent voice inside Otto's head for the entirety of the fucking comic, and it's amazing. Because
by the way, he actually makes a reference to
I want to get my own right. They made a sequel. Hang on. They made a sequel comic, right? And that was also great. Like, oh, got a new body that was sort of a clone of Peter Parker's body, but different.
Yeah.
He had this whole character arc thing.
Yeah, that was really good.
And then guess what? He became evil again.
Fuck off.
He turned back to Otto and just became evil again, throwing away all his character development for no reason.
It's like
Aunt May is really strong. Harry is the biggest piece of shit ever. This movie.
Yes, that's a persistent thing when between Peter and Harry from the comics after Norman's death. Peter is like, he knows. Harry thinks Peter knows who Spider-Man is, and he technically does, but yeah. And he's like he blames him for
the death of
Norman's death. He blames Spider-Man for Norman's death, and he thinks that he'd be able to bring Spider-Man to justice if Peter would just talk to him about it. And like did you not watch the fucking, there's a reason for that. Like the thing I hate about this movie is the fact that there's too much forced conflict. This is not a forced conflict.
No, it's one that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like it's literally copied one for one from the fucking comic, because that's what happens.
Please tell me he's not. Please tell me he doesn't ignore the fact that it has one of the best side characters in the form of Mr. Dickovich.
If he shits on Mr. Ditkovich, I am going to riot.
You gotta go postal. You gotta become the postal dude and go out there.
Anyway, let's keep going.
He's just unrelentingly mean. The first thing Harry says to Peter in this movie is, "Hey, your friend Spider-Man killed my dad, and I fucking hate you." And they start talking about other stuff. And then he's like, "No, but seriously, I really hate Spider-Man, and I hate you, and this is why Uncle Ben died." Every chance Harry gets, he talks about how Spider-Man killed his dad. Even when Spider-Man saves his life in the beginning of the movie, he doesn't even skip a beat. He's just like, "This doesn't change anything."
No shit.
It's because he has a little thing what I like to call a grudge, an irrational grudge. Like, this is one of Peter's good deeds coming back to bite him in the ass. He didn't want Harry to remember his dad as a monster because they already had enough conflict in their relationship. So he stripped off the suit, he cleaned him up, he brought him back to the house. And then he got blamed for Norman's death, you know? Like, there's a cause and effect here. You're complaining about something that makes perfect fucking sense. If you'd have just paid attention to the first movie, which we know you didn't fucking do, but...
Because you were too busy laughing your ass off about it.
Yeah. Like, I was bitching at The Last Jedi when it released, but, you know, after I got done writing my first draft of my review, I went back and rewatched the movie again, and then I wrote in a bunch of more bitching because there was a bunch of stuff I'd missed.
Right.
It's not like...
"God damn, dude, you are really petty." It also does
Yes.
help that James Franco's acting is kind of shitty in this movie.
What?
What? What?
Yeah.
What?
Alright,
This movie was so frustrating. I didn't think it would be this bad, but it is.
Dylan, your thoughts? Dylan.
I think
Dylan.
Dylan's dead. He's dead.
Did the video... Did you die of cringe?
No,
He died.
Dylan, your thoughts on this cringe?
Honestly, just
Keep going.
yeah, keep going. It's just like, yeah, I'll form a solid opinion once I'm through.
Alright.
And nothing left except Spider-Man.
And then we have Aunt May.
I just wanna
who nags
fucking
the
kiss
shit
him.
out of Peter Parker in every scene that he's in. She abuses random people. And in the most egregious instance of...
That wasn't random people. That was the greedy bank
That was the
teller.
dickhole... That was the dickhole banker. That guy deserved every bit of abuse he got.
Yeah.
He made a nice old lady lose her house.
mischaracterization, she makes Peter feel more guilty for Uncle Ben's death. At a crucial point in the movie, Peter is like, "Hey, Aunt May, it's been eating me up inside. I basically caused Uncle Ben's death. I didn't know how to tell you, and I'm so sorry. All I want is forgiveness." And she's basically like, "Wow, you're a piece of shit." Bye.
No, she doesn't know how to respond. She literally doesn't know how to respond. Her surrogate son just told her something. After
She's in shock.
It's been like 3.5 years, or no, like it's like 1.5 years, 2.5 years since Uncle Ben's death, right? Okay. Peter just said something to her. She doesn't know how to process this. You fucking wouldn't either. You wouldn't know what to say. You'd want to go upstairs and crawl into your bed and fucking cry yourself to sleep too. Hey, don't tell me you fucking wouldn't. God.
He likes inserting himself into these scenes, and yet he doesn't understand that even when...
Okay, so I gotta go to the restroom real quick. You guys just talk at length about this and fill more space. How far are we into the video? We're 14 minutes into the video, and we're an hour and 40 minutes.
We're more than halfway done.
Yeah, so just go ahead and like, talk about this fucking thing, and I'll be right back. Jesus Christ.
So do we have a favorite anime filler? Or do we just not talk about filler at all?
I like the time when Goku played baseball.
What about you, Dylan?
It's hard to say. I'm not usually a fan of filler.
Yeah, neither am I.
I've only liked some of the filler in Super, like again the baseball episode and the
Yeah,
aerial
but that's because
episode.
That's because Super didn't really have a whole lot of material to work with, so they had to just make shit up.
And honestly, some of that shit was pretty good. I like Goku's rematch with It, for example.
Time for me to make the donuts.
Yeah, I love that fucking. I know it's a translation thing, but the fact that they referenced it from the game was just great.
Okay.
As much as I don't like Matt Mercer as a person, he at least delivered that line perfectly.
Yeah, dead on straight. It was great.
Okay, something I need to say. Not to knock on Gallon, but I almost had an aneurysm when he put Spider-Man 2 and Empire Strikes Back in the category of bad. I almost had a fucking aneurysm. I'm like, okay.
I know. Fucking,
okay.
I love that.
Okay, Gallon, you're a cool guy, and you're probably gonna see this in editing, but you probably have some of the weirdest takes on movies.
Can we all get an agreement? We need to come in on a stream at one day. Make them think we're gonna watch something, and then show them Empire Strikes Back and Spider-Man 2 back to back.
No, we're not.
Yes, we have to do this. We have to do this. It's therapy. Yes, it's
therapy.
No, we don't. Yes,
all right, I'm back.
We need therapy. Oh wait,
We're discussing evil plans.
Headphones back on.
What evil plans? I don't know what you're talking about.
You were gonna suggest we strap them down, popcorn
I don't know what you're talking about.
And force them to watch back-to-back Spider-Man 2 and Empire Strikes Back.
But I already watched Spider-Man 2 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. With me. Anyway, let's continue.
And then she just leaves. She leaves him there. Even when Peter comes back and he tries to talk about it again, to get some closure, she's basically like, well, you fucked up, but whatever. This is not
No, that's not what she says. That is not what she says at all.
What is he talking about?
Yeah, she literally doesn't say anything because she's in shock.
And then afterwards she's finally come to terms with it and realizes, this really must have hurt you to bottle this all up. Listen, I get it, I understand, and I'm letting you know that I'll still love you. That's literally the whole point.
Is Markus a fucking robot?
Perhaps we need to check him. Oh god, there's all the virtue signaling in here.
Oh god, he's getting motor oil everywhere.
Yep, he's the virtue signaling robot. Anyway, let's continue.
It makes me really mad. But even though Aunt May has the worst scene, and she's one of the worst characters in the movie, she still isn't the #1 worst character.
Are you about to shit all over Otto?
Goes to Mary Jane Watson, the
okay.
most manipulative person in the entire series. She spends the whole movie fucking with Peter's
manipulating. What?
Look, I don't like how this movie and Spider-Man 3, to a larger extent, portrays Mary Jane, because it's, like, not how she is in the comics. But that's...
I mean, hell, Spectacular Spider-Man doesn't really have her be accurate, but here's the thing, she at least is still a caring person.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions. At the end of the first movie, he's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, we can't be together. I gotta do my own thing. It's sad, but hey, he's being straight with her. And in their first scene in this movie, she tries to make the moves on him. And he's like, hey,
no, she doesn't.
I'm still trying to be...
She's not. She's literally doing the opposite. Did you
told him that
did you
she's
pay
getting married.
Did you pay any attention to the goddamn movie?
No, he didn't. He's not even bitching about things that are actually wrong with the movie. He's bitching about things that he thinks is wrong.
These are things that are invented entirely within your mind, Marcus.
He thinks that MJ was trying to hit on him. She flat out told him here she's getting married. That's kind of what the conflict, like with how Peter finds out that she's getting married to the son of his boss.
Pretty funny though. Being cucked by your boss.
Friends here. I don't want to date you. And she's like, oh yeah? Well, fucking kiss me, you pussy. Look how cute I am. I baked you a fucking cake. And he's like, okay. Oh boy, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
And she's like, admit you love me. Admit you.
Marcus, do you have some kind of unresolved issues that you need to talk about?
Especially with his girlfriend.
Like with like your current or previous girlfriend, because like if you do, we're here for you, buddy. You can talk about it. I don't.
He's already made his stance about Vic public.
I don't. It's like we'll still laugh at you after we find out about your whatever the fuck happened. Don't you worry. We just won't laugh at you about that.
Yeah.
Admit you love me, Peter. And he's like, no, I don't want to. So she takes.
You know,
This is like the opposite of what happened in the movie.
this is fan fiction.
And I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Ben, where are you right now?
Oh shit, I'm at home. Oh
Yeah.
shit, my dogs are outside. I haven't let them in 3 hours.
Oh my god, why would you do that?
Ben, go let your dogs in.
I have... And meanwhile, my pit bull is the blanket monster. Upstairs, I'm sure.
Can you show me? I wanna hear about these strangers
Hey,
like
Dylan?
me.
How do you feel about
wanna
Marcus's
know.
fan fiction? Because this is
Oh,
what
did I get to that part? Wait, it's fan fiction, did I don't
his
know if
fan
I...
fiction is basically him thinking that Mary Jane is trying to kind of force Peter to admit that he loves her.
I got both my dogs with me now. They're my comfort.
Okay, good.
They're my
Good.
teddy bears now. This movie's
Okay.
hard. I mean, review is hard to watch.
Anyway, let's continue.
Takes it easy, you know, she backs off a little bit. She doesn't freak out or anything, except she does this shit. And then a second later, she turns around and she's like, oh, well, you know what? I have a boyfriend anyway, so fuck you. And she seriously says it just to fuck
No!
with him. But then you learn that she
doesn't
Okay.
say to fuck with him. She says, since you didn't want to make any moves on me, since you didn't want to start something with me, I've decided to start with someone else. Oh, she's just telling him flat out that she's gotten with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they were chatting like friends. This fan fiction of Marcus's is weird, Alex.
I don't like it.
I am coming up with this hypothesis that Marcus is a robot sent here from another planet to learn our human ways.
Our human ways?
Yes.
What's the pronunciation of the word man?
Because they don't really understand language. They've come to learn our human ways.
What is a man?
A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough.
They're not talking. Have at you.
No, the only way they've observed this is through the bad voice acting of Symphony of the Night.
Oh my god! Imagine teaching our language to an alien, and then to go off
Just-
we give them.
Yeah, exclusively 90s video games.
Oh my god! Like Resident Evil 1 on the PS1.
Here.
No! Don't open that door!
Nibble sandwich.
It'd be handy if you, the master of unlocking, would take it with you.
I literally love how they made that line canon in Revelations 2. No, they made the PS1 version of that game the definitive canon because Barry like busts open this gate and he says, "Who's the master of unlocking now?" No, and there's another line where Claire and Moira Byrne almost got like squished, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're almost.
and Claire was like, "Oh man, I was almost a Jill sandwich." And then Moira, who's Barry Byrne's daughter, she's like, "Does he tell everyone that story?"
Anyway, let's continue.
She's only fucking this other guy because she's mad at Peter Parker. She agrees to.
You watched Spider-Man 2.1! You don't have this fucking excuse! I'm sorry.
It's the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman. And he still botches this up.
I had my phone in my hand because I was looking at something you posted in the Mythoverse. I think it was, Dylan. And when I heard that, I just fucking dropped my phone on the floor. But it's like, come on, there are scenes where it's not as many scenes as are in the script, but there are scenes in Spider-Man 2.1 where she, like, goes over why she thinks she's into this guy. It's not about getting back at Peter. It's John Jameson III is a fucking, he's a fucking cool dude.
Okay, wait, what did I post in the Mythoverse?
It was that thing from, that screenshot from Facebook.
Oh god.
Of the muff diving.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
I like that.
Yeah, my artwork gets like it's zucked, but that's allowed.
Yeah, and like I've shown you guys a picture of this. Like, I had some issues with my streams getting taken down over on Bright Steel Stars because of, like, a momentary CGI nudity in Watch Dogs, and then, like, some automated takedowns after that. But, or it might have been some fucker reporting the videos, I don't know. But then, like, what culture has, like, Karen Gillan's actual naked ass on the thumbnail for one of their videos? It's fully monetized. They have the footage from the movie. It's not age restricted. It's still able to be up there.
Okay, yeah. I've had streams get taken down because I've had my drawings shown where it was literally just female characters in bikinis. That's it. Nothing. But yeah, you know, shit like full-on nudity, like, can get posted. And it's like,
Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue.
She agrees to marry him right after she yells at Peter Parker. It's just because she's mad at him.
Punch me, I bleed.
So then in the weirdest scene in the movie, she has this fucking experiment with her fiance where she makes him kiss her
After
Spider-Man kissed her in
the
first movie.
scene where one of her friends says, you know, do you like him or do you just think you like him? I mean, this is how she figures out whether she really likes him. It's just Spider-Man 2.1 answers this fucking question. If he was talking about the theatrical cut, I would completely understand it. To some extent. To some extent, I could understand it. I have to take that back. But no, he ain't talking about the theatrical cut. Fuck!
No. He's talking about
The extended edition. He's talking about the one that answered that fucking question. Let's just move on.
What if
Yeah,
your girlfriend
please, I
went
wanna
up to you and
finish
was like,
this.
Hey, can you kiss me like this one guy used to kiss me? This one guy that I just kissed.
John doesn't know that.
I just want to, see what it feels like.
John doesn't know that.
No, but that's not.
John doesn't know that. He has no context for this.
You're just like, oh, okay.
Uh-huh. And he does. And then it does something for him, it don't do nothing for her. Alright, let's keep going.
The only frustrating plot device. Dr. Octopus is also a big dumbass. Firstly, he has this extremely dangerous demonstration.
No, let's hear him out. I wanna know the full context for this bullshit.
I want to hear everything he has to say before pausing again.
In his fucking apartment with no protection.
No, this is a lab. This is a lab.
Yes.
This is not a fucking apartment. This is a lab. The apartment was a different set. Keep up, Markus.
Anyway.
Given to anybody in the room other than Goggles for himself. And then when he turns evil, his entire.
That's because the arms were supposed to be the ones taking care of it and the magnetic field. It breached the magnetic containment field. The magnetic containment field was supposed to be able to keep the fucking supernova from breaching out into the rest of the fucking thing. And even if so, even if they had put up fucking glass, it would have had to be held down by metal, and it wouldn't have fucking helped.
Yep.
Okay, I've actually got to dip out. This thing, well, I've actually got to do something. This video is going to give me an aneurysm if I keep watching it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man. Have a nice night.
Alright,
Good
see ya.
night, man. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. Anyway, let's keep going.
How to finish my science experiment? Might as well. I get that you're supposed to be crazy now because of the AI of the metal arms, fucking with his mind. But why the fuck do they want to finish the fusion reactor?
Because that's their purpose. That's their purpose. That's what they were created for, Markus.
That's what they were created
This is the only reason they exist. Did you watch the movie?
Clearly he didn't. No, he clearly did what Jeremy Scott does.
Oh my god.
And just zip through.
We need to stop asking him if he watched the movie.
Because we know the answer.
Yeah.
Did you guys get at what I sent you?
Let me see here.
That's a picture of my cat.
My dog is laying on top of my keyboard. Apologies if I disconnect randomly.
Okay.
What do you
He's
guys
just trying to
make of
get my attention, you brat.
What do you guys make of my cat?
Let me see where you posted it. Hang on.
Critique of stories.
Oh, I see its butt. Oh wait, no, that's not its butt. That's no, I'm never mind. My brain fried. I thought the piece of its foot was its butt for a second.
I don't know why you would think that.
My brain is fried.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Energy
Yes,
for.
please.
I don't get it. He's one of the best characters in the Spider-Man universe with really complex goals and motivations. But here he's just a fucking goofball.
How? How? You just contradicted yourself!
What?
He just contradicted himself!
Imagine if this were Dr. Octopus. Oh my god, it's Alfred Molina. Ha! Ha! How do I shoot web? Dr. Octopus. I showed Alex the entirety of the Dr. Octopus series. It was a weird narrative. Anyway.
I will say, though, that one of the best scenes in the movie is definitely the fucking horror scene that plays at the end of the first act. This is so
The shit that you complained about in the first movie?
Evidently.
Okay, then.
that it makes me kind of giddy. Like, look at this. Tell me this is not from Evil Dead. For real. And to top it off, this scene is full of the other staple of this trilogy, screaming women. I mentioned it briefly.
Yes, because scary shit is happening.
Yeah, scary shit is happening, and a lot of people are dying.
And if nobody reacted to it, that would be that would make the whole scene kind of dead.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi loves screaming women. Even when the movie isn't being campy and it's not being serious, it's just being really awkward. Tobey Maguire can't have a normal scene with somebody. Sure.
What? Alex?
I got nothing. I'm like, there's only so many times I can say the same thing over and over again. Like, did you? How do you misunderstand a movie this hard?
Just do what Jeremy Scott does.
I guess.
Sure showed him. What do you mean we?
So anyway, Peter Parker beats up Dr. Octopus. He tells Mary Jane he's Spider-Man, and then she leaves her fiance on their wedding day and decides to be with Peter Parker.
Based.
Which is fucked up, but whatever. Oh, she also says that she doesn't mind that he's Spider-Man, and she'll do whatever it takes to be with him, and that she'll be there for him no matter what. Except in the next movie where she leaves him because he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I bitched about that too.
That's a fair complaint. I do think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think everyone is in agreement with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, that was stupid.
But still, that scene here appears like. That's a good meme. It's also used in a YouTube poop.
Okay, so everybody knows that this movie is bad. And I'm not about to talk shit about Spider-Man 2 and go ahead and say this one's good. And I almost wasn't even going to talk about it because everybody already knows the funny things in it. But I can't help it. This movie's
I like this
hilarious.
movie.
However, while the movie is bad, it's actually pretty consistent in its tone. This still feels like a Spider-Man sequel, even if it is a really stupid one.
What?
Okay.
So this movie goes ahead and starts off with another...
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense out of context, but in context it makes perfect sense.
Good at this, but no, he doesn't. Now, if you ask me, the best part about this movie is the fact that the wackiness starts at the very beginning. It's not a gradual...
Yes, it's almost like you can start that without needing a whole lot of build-up because we already know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Yep.
There's already been build-up. That's how that works.
Exactly.
This movie starts off as a shit show. At the 10-minute mark, we already see two antagonists. Harry starts juicing with the goblin serum, and a fucking meteorite lands in Central Park with the symbiote. This movie's trying to...
We don't even establish Venom. It's almost like Sam Raimi didn't want to shoehorn in Venom because he hates Venom.
Yeah.
I don't think he didn't hate him. He just didn't grow up with him like a lot of people did. He grew up with all the classic.
Yeah.
comics.
Yeah, that wasn't his era of Spider-Man. He wanted to do some of the other stuff before he got there.
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted to do Venom at all.
Shit at once, and it really doesn't work. Also, the symbiote coming from outer space is fucking stupid. I know that's how it is in the comics, but there's a lot more context in the original story. With everything that we
Yes, and the context in the original story would not have worked in this or really any story other than fucking a Secret Wars movie, you know?
Yeah,
because Deadpool is not present.
Well, not only is Deadpool not present, but the fucking...
But no, he's present. It's just that no one remembers that.
We don't talk.
Yeah, there's you can't say that the context makes it work better when the context is impossible to work in here. They worked in enough context to make it work.
Yeah.
It's different context, but you know, and in like I prefer how it was in the Venom movie, but here you know they did about as Yeah, and in Spectacular Spider-Man. But in here, you know, they did about as good as they could. Spectacular Spider-Man didn't have the context of the Secret Wars.
But it still did amazing with it.
Yeah, spectacular even.
So far, telling me that aliens exist is kind of a stretch.
No, it's not.
It's literally part of an overarching universe.
How is it a stretch when we've already seen, like, spectacular stuff happening throughout this fucking movie?
Yeah, aliens existing would not be that big a stretch. Plus, and let's not even get into our little project where
Aliens, gods.
Aliens, literal gods, and demons, and immortal babes, immortal muscular babes,
Who are also goddesses.
yes, and
An 8-foot-tall woman and from outer space.
And literal Martians.
Yeah, like, okay, this is based on a fucking comic, Marcus. There's alien shit in comics. Okay, it's already a sci-fi movie.
What's adding aliens to it?
This isn't like the fucking ancient Transformers shit from Michael Bay's films. All right, this is one little thing.
Please tell me if you ever do a sequel to a Transformers thing that we're not gonna have Peter go to Robot Heaven.
Nobody's going to Robot Heaven.
Boy.
That was stupid.
Good. Everyone agrees that that's fucking stupid. Anyway, let's continue.
All that, Harry ambushes Peter and tries to fucking murder him in the street.
Are we gonna completely ignore Aunt May giving Peter the wedding ring?
Yes, we are, I think.
Never happened.
That's.
We are not even 1/6 through the movie at this point. Now, all things considered, I actually like this fight. It's pretty exciting. We know Peter isn't gonna die because the movie just fucking started. But the main thing at risk here is the wedding ring. It adds an extra.
Oh, okay. That's good.
But you didn't establish that
that's
earlier.
That's a good point. Yeah. He does make a good point there. It does get
good for making the audience engaged. Now, right after this scene, we're thrown into the Sandman's origin story because, like I said, this movie has no fucking breaks. However, him turning into Sandman is actually one of the best sequences in the whole movie. The effect.
Why is he saying things that are actually?
Why are you doing all of this out of order?
Yeah.
You're missing so much context.
Yeah, what about him visiting his wife and daughter?
Yeah, it's almost like that's a massive part of the fucking storyline or something.
Yeah.
You skipped over the ending of Spider-Man 1. What did you fucking expect? You skipped over that.
Yeah, good point.
Effects have aged pretty well, and with no dialogue and beautiful music, it's an excellent example of wordless storytelling.
Okay.
It's weird because if you look at this scene on its own, it's kind of beautiful, but then you remember it's in the same movie as this scene, and you get kind of upset.
No, I don't.
No, I don't either.
You can have.
Why would I?
In
Why
fact,
would I get upset over
Also,
that?
doesn't this contradict what he said about the movie having a consistent tone?
Yeah. It kind of does.
Christ on a fucking cracker.
It's like this review isn't consistent.
Anyway.
But Harry has amnesia now, which, as everybody knows, is probably the worst plot device in the history of storytelling.
You can make amnesia work. It's just you need to do what any writer should do and put some fucking effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember not liking this in this film, but it's been a little while since I've seen it.
He seriously hit his.
Okay, that I'll admit was actually kind of funny.
That was a good edit. That was a really good edit.
That was a good edit. That was
Peter nearly Highlander 2'd his best friend, and then.
Can we watch that one? Can we watch that one more time?
Now, which, as everybody knows, is probably the worst plot device in the history of storytelling. He seriously hit his head and forgot the entire
second
last
time.
2 movies. That is more than ridiculous.
No.
That is the dumbest
We need to make
thing
progress.
I've ever heard. Oh, also, James Franco has gone from being a bad actor to being an insane one.
It's almost like he's gone from being a impetuous brat to being like kind of Goblin Jr., as he's called later in the movie.
Gonna cry.
Oh my god.
Where? My daddy's dead. He didn't buy me enough performance-enhancing drugs before he died.
And then Tom Holland comes in and sees like, hey, Peter 2, oh, have you seen my... Oh my god, I'm gonna come back. I'll come back later. And Peter 2 is just like... Ooh.
Toby's just humping the air or over top of Harry's unconscious body.
And then Peter 3 is just like, hey, Peter 2 told me something. Peter 1 told me something was wrong, and oh my god, what are you doing?
Oh god, there's something wrong.
And then Peter 1. I'm sorry, that was too good. That was too funny.
Now, unsurprisingly, Mary Jane is still the worst character in this movie.
Spider-Man gets attacked all the time.
This isn't about you. This is about me.
Remember how in the last movie she's like, hey, I love you, I'll support your lifestyle. Yeah, well, the first time he has to go out and do Spider-Man stuff, she's like, ugh, I didn't know this Spider-Man shit was gonna be full-time. The next scene is also really funny because we are now randomly introduced to all the new side characters. This random-ass motherfucker shows up and he's just like,
oh my god.
New side characters.
Sorry, who are you?
He was introduced in the first movie vaguely.
Yeah. Back to Mary Jane, though. What are your full thoughts on that, then? Because I know you said you didn't like her.
She's written like shit. One of Mary... you can, like, watch the commentary we recorded yesterday, but, like, skip through the first 40 minutes because I was muted for them. Like, this... OBS does this thing sometimes where after I do my sound check, it just disconnects half my fucking sound devices for some reason. So... I might have, like, bumped the USB hub or something. No, I have the VU meter on screen now. I can actually see it.
Okay, good.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Villain, by the way, and he just shows up randomly. Now, all things considered, Topher Grace's performance is not actually that bad. I actually really like it.
See, photography, it's not just about, no offense, flagpoles, whatever. It's about lighting.
And it kind of upsets me that people blame him for why this movie sucks. He's actually perfectly playing the jerky, hot-headed foil to Peter Parker. He's just one of the better parts of the movie when he's not being Venom. Because when he gets the symbiote, he kind of sucks. Once he turns into Venom, he's just...
I like being bad. It makes me happy.
Okay.
Mr. Fantastic is about to make a face at you, Markus.
He's about to tell you how to beat Black Bolt.
I couldn't resist. We mentioned Mr. Fantastic.
There's context to that line, Cosmo.
Yes, there's quite a lot of context to that.
Where Peter tells him that the symbiote is feeding into his negative emotions and that it's using him.
Yeah.
And then when Eddie says, "I don't care," that's like a big that's a big fucking deal. That's a big fucking deal. When the guy says, "Yeah, I know it is, and I like it."
And then there's also the added context of the fact that Peter literally screwed him out of his job because he pointed out a Photoshop.
Yeah, he has a personal vendetta at hand.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking ridiculous. Honestly, if this movie was just about one villain, one fucking dude, it could have been fine. Harry's motivations are clearly defined all the way from the first movie, and he would have made a great villain on his own. Sandman has a very compelling story, and the way he ties back to Peter could be interesting if written well. Eddie Brock serves as a great foil to Peter.
If written well, you mean like how it actually was in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was the most
I mean,
compelling villain.
like I'd have changed how he related to it, but you know, how he related to Uncle Ben's death. But you know, it's overall not bad. Like it's executed pretty well. I mean, I don't like how they kind of retconned it, but you know.
And the editor's cut gave us a really good deleted scene. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, how was this not in the damn movie proper?
It's like the scene where Alfred tells Superman where the fucking Justice League are. Got deleted from Justice League. It was on the goddamn Blu-ray. You finished the effects. Everything was there, and it adds so much to the film.
And it took till 2021 for us to actually get that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
In an official cut of the movie.
He represents something that we haven't
Yeah.
seen in these movies yet. A person like Peter Parker, except motivated by his own selfishness instead of selflessness. Any one of these dudes would have been fine. Making a Spider-Man movie should be so fucking easy, but most of them suck. I'm so mad. So anyway, Mary Jane gets kicked out of her play because she can't sing for shit, and she sees Peter
That's
by,
not-
and she actually gets mad at him.
Why?
That's not why. It's the fact that her voice didn't carry over.
It's she can sing perfectly fine. We heard it.
It's just the thing is that she feels that her voice didn't carry past the first few rows.
some people have the ability to make their voice carry across a whole fucking theater. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. I have a very powerful voice. Astoundingly powerful. Well, like one of the maintenance ladies commented, had like, I didn't know he could talk, much less like that, you know, because I didn't say a whole lot to the people at the college aside from my friends, but you know, I have a very powerful voice, and it's difficult to fill a whole theater with it.
Yeah.
And my theater that I was doing that for was half the size, probably less. You gotta mic up your fucking performers, guys. Like, even, like you watch, like, just go back to the Spider-Man 3 commentary we did for that. But the too long didn't read of it is the audio equipment was shit for the acoustics in there. You gotta mic up your performers.
Peter pointed out that.
Yeah. He's not just trying to be nice. That was an actual thing.
Anyway, so he gets mad at him. Yeah, forget being supportive of the Spider-Man lifestyle. Now you're actually actively jealous of your own boyfriend. And then she even has the audacity to get mad when he kisses a random girl.
This is down to one of my biggest problems with the film, which is the failure of communication between Peter and Mary Jane. You know, the fact that they were like an incredibly well communicated couple in the comics only makes this worse.
Yeah. Anyway, continuing on.
That he doesn't know. Right in front of her. Peter, why did you do that? This movie's just basically...
He didn't do it on purpose.
Being pissy at each other again, because we haven't seen enough of that.
Yeah.
Because we have the same general storyline in every single one of these movies. So now Spider-Man decides to be evil, and he wears his hair different, and he says bad words.
You'll get your rent when you fix this door.
And everybody likes this.
He didn't mention Mr. Dickovich at all.
Yeah, he's cut Ditkovich from the entire fucking thing. And like, why? If you're bringing up background characters, Ditkovich is one of the best. The scene of like them going into the bathroom and him peeking out, how to say rent, and then Peter closing the door. That was great. That was fucking amazing.
Like, he's just like, yeah, no.
But he likes this part of the movie Actually, this is everyone's favorite part of the movie. Everybody universally agrees that this is where the movie really shines. Now, this movie has a flow, much like the others do. However, the flow in this movie is fucking insane. They just have each villain getting kicked out of the story to make room for another villain. Harry's the bad guy at the beginning of the movie until he gets amnesia. Then Sandman comes in, and he's the villain until Peter murders him. Then Harry decides
He didn't. He survived that. He survived that. I know this has been. I know this has been an attempt at a running gag, Marcus, but it's not fucking funny.
I get his point, but it's more attempted murder.
Peter Parker kills Harry Osborn with a bomb.
He very clearly didn't kill him. He knocked him out of the story for a little while. I know this is your attempt at a running gag, but it's not funny. This isn't funny!
Yes, I've seen that robot chicken skit.
Yeah, that was great.
Then Venom is the main villain after that. This movie is bananas. All while this is happening,
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
It's over.
Ba-da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-nas.
Bad acting? How is this bad acting? I don't get it. He was actually getting emotional over the fact that Mary Jane is leaving.
Breaking up with him, yeah, the girl of his dreams who he thought he was trying to deal with shit about.
And just absolutely hilarious scenes. Now take on this. The last act of this movie rushes along faster than you can say. Oh boy, yeah. Eddie Brock gets the symbiote, and immediately afterwards, him and Sandman just find each other wandering the street.
Yes, because Sandman's been looking for Spider-Man, and Venom happens to look like him.
Yeah.
In the suit that Spider-Man was wearing when Sandman got beat to fuck by him.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's not a fucking coincidence.
Anyway.
Taxi, kidnap Mary Jane, and build the death trap for Spider-Man. This all happens in the span of like a couple minutes. This movie is so sluggishly paced until the point where all this shit has to be shoved in immediately. Oh, and then Peter goes to Harry to recruit him to fight the bad guys, but Harry is...
I thought you said Harry was killed. And so is Sandman. It's clear that they survived, dipshit.
Anyway.
Now the Phantom of the Opera, and he's sad and he hides in his castle. But then the butler comes out and says that Spider-Man didn't kill his dad. And
Okay, so he didn't watch the editor's cut. He watched the theatrical cut, which cut out Sandman's little scene of the pen game.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that, considering the editor's cut is, one, not particularly well known, and two, not particularly widely available. But, come on, those deleted scenes exist.
Yeah, and also...
And that Spider-Man is innocent.
I love your father. As I have loved you, Barry.
I'm sorry, who are you? So the climax...
Bernard.
He's Bernard. He's the butler from the first movie and the second movie. He was in all three of these films. How have you not been paying attention? Come on, Marcus.
Revolves around Peter saving Mary Jane. Does that sound familiar? Because it's been the climax in every single one.
Yes, it's almost like the villain kidnapping the hero's love interest is a reason for him to have a secret identity or something.
And on top of that, the villain wants to get at the drop. And on top of that, this villain really wanted to make it personal for Peter because Peter ended up doing him dirty.
Yeah.
You see what I mean when I say these movies are all the same? I don't even care. It's so funny. 4 out of 10, really bad, but I like it anyway. I don't feel so good. If you ask me, all three of these movies honestly do make a pretty decent trilogy. People say Spider-Man 3 is the worst one, but if you watch all of them back to back, it really doesn't feel that much different from the other two. So yeah, my opinion hasn't really changed. I prefer the new movies, but at the same time, I can still enjoy these movies for what they are. Because even when they're bad, they aren't as bad as The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Even though I've never...
We'll get to that. We will get to that.
Never seen it. And I'm never going to see it.
Uh.
I'm never gonna...
Except he does see it.
Okay.
What?
Get me to watch that movie.
What?
Because it's not gonna happen. In a million years. Maybe some other time. Bye, guys.
It's over. Are we free?
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. It's over.
Now, was there something else you wanted to show?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna go over Razorfist's shitty fucking video about Justice League.
Oh god. How long is that one?
That's like 10 minutes.
Okay, before we start that, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
After we finish that, can we have a palate cleanser and watch the new Scott the Woz?
No.
Oh.
We'll have to watch that on our own.
Yep. Either way, have you ever seen that one husky that likes sicko mode? Guy plays the song for it and it howls. You've never heard of that video?
No.
Anyway, so where's the video that was?
I'm finding it.
Remember, Razorfist, not the awesome YouTuber, but the guy from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings that has a fucking knife for a hand.
Nerd Roddick made that joke in his Shang-Chi review. Oh, by the
Okay,
way,
give me a second here. I'm gonna mute everybody so that I can make sure I'm watching the right video. Okay, I have found the video. The video is not...
Spandex in slow-mo?
No. The video was Joss Whedon feminist icon, I believe. Yeah, Watch Together kind of fucks up the video quality, but Markus has some weird shit going on in his videos.
Joss the boss Whedon, when he isn't ramming married actresses or representing the most vast disparity of face to watermelon-sized dome ratio this side of Charlie fucking Kirk, he's serving as a living, breathing cautionary tale. After a slow burn on Buffy and a veritable cornucopia of crappy comics in the mid-2000s, he absolutely...
Yes, crappy comics. Some of the best X-Men comics ever written. Yeah, go. Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Razor? You sure you haven't dropped your taste and forgotten where you put it?
He also hates Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll get to that in this video.
After which, his record gets patchier than his beard. From almost the instant Avengers Age of Ultron and its endless procession of cringy pop culture patter were unleashed upon the hapless populace, he's slowed the fuck down some, you may have noticed. Going from an almost annual cinematic schedule at his peak to a project every 2 to 3 titty fucking years, and finally, to the 5-year fucking drought in which he is presently ensconced. But what preceded his plummet from golden boy to whipping boy? 2 words, folks. Justice League. Now, it's unfair to blame Whedon for most of that muddlefuck. Zack Snyder was well on his way to crack...
Fuck you, Whedon is the only reason that film sucked. If he hadn't come to Jeff Johns with his treatment for the script, the movie would have been perfectly fucking fine.
Would have been on par with the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Celluloid injection long before Whedon came aboard to turn it into the Social Justice League. Replacing Snyder midstream with Whedon and expecting a cinematic classic to result is like the Yankees firing their coach halfway through the season, breaking every arm in the bullpen and saying, "Now go out and win me a World Series." You may as well ask Stephen Hawking to break dance or break dancing.
Oh no.
And the influx of allegations from the cast that he was a shrieking, talentless tyrant didn't help matters either. Pinching out a bomb would have been bad enough, but by then, the calendar had clicked on over to 2017, the dawn of the Me Too millennium, when every chick who ever got brushed up...
What is he on about?
What is your point here? Like, Razorfist is usually incredibly succinct about his points, and he's going from, like, one place to another, to another, to another, and he has no coherency in this rant at all.
Indeed.
Like, he talks about how... Okay, so the video is sort of about how, you know, Joss Whedon, at the time this video came out, was being excoriated for various misdoings on his part. Misdoings and misdealings on his part. Excuse me.
But then...
Then it starts devolving into him, like, insulting the cast of Justice League and Zack Snyder and everybody the fuck else. And like, going after Joss's good work, too. It's like, anybody, if you seriously think, like, at the time, anybody, let me go ahead and rephrase that. If you are seriously saying to me now that at the time you didn't think that a lot of Joss Whedon's early work was good, you're a fucking liar, because it was good.
Then...
Yes?
Are you not being a chihuahua? Are you not being a dramatic husky right now?
No, I'm just listening.
Do you have any thoughts?
I don't have anything to add.
All right. Let's just keep going.
Up against in a crowded subway, sold her story to the Times and demanded millions for mental anguish. But even in an engineered ass booking such as this, Joss Whedon had been cruising for a cancellation for some fucking time. You see, friends, he is a dreaded male feminist. Don't worry, ladies, no need to hide your drinks. They're not in the room with us now. At this point, I think we're all hip to the fact that male feminist is millennialese for closet sexual peccant.
Yeah, this is, I can't remember who this guy is, but this guy was some kind of, anti-Gamergate guy who, wound up, turned out to be a pedophile, so, yeah.
Oh, kind of like this one guy who thought anime was for...
Yeah, this...
kind of like that one guy who said on Twitter that anime is for pedos, and then it turns out he was actually a pedophile.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like Vosh for minor attractive persons, rather than the clinical terminology. Marksmanship practice. In short, where Josh Whedon's female cast members are concerned, this dude has eaten more stars than Kirby. Anyone who's been paying attention since Gamergate knows the fucking rules. The brighter the virtue signal, the darker the allegations. And this dude's virtue signals entailed social media photo ops with Anita fucking Sarkeesian. Yep, this shit's about to get darker than Mike Tyson's nipples.
Okay.
That's a good fucking joke.
That's a pretty good line.
Yeah, okay, at the very least, Razorfist is starting to get somewhere. Okay, I'm like, okay, in the midst of your ranting, you're starting to get somewhere. That is good. Because unlike the last guy we watched, this actually is starting to get somewhere. I'm sure it's going to derail at some point, but it's going somewhere. That's what matters. Anyway.
Shit, after devoting every waking hour to remonstrating male gamers for their toxic masculinity, his own wife called him a hypocrite and admitted he'd been running with half of Hollywood for a decade or more while using his sham marriage as a smokescreen to safeguard his third-wave feminist bona fides. To hear her?
It's interesting how Razorfist actually shows what he's talking about, as opposed to someone else.
There's a good level of contrast in how Razorfist makes his videos versus how Markus does his. Because Razorfist, when he brings something up, he at least, shows you what the fuck he's talking about, even when he's wrong.
Even when he's wrong, he at least shows citation.
To hear her tell him Buffy was an underage dating service, and Dollhouse was Joss Whedon's private fuck harem on the Fox network. Most alarming of all, this means that at some point, Joss Whedon had sex. Why dredging up all this Me Too hysteria, you inquire?
That's terrifying.
Because his career cratered in the immediate aftermath of these allegations, with his only major...
Immediate aftermath. No, not immediate aftermath. Fuck. You have clearly not been paying attention to any of this shit, Razorfist, because a lot of this stuff started coming out after Justice League, and, people really didn't talk about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like, this was almost exclusively, like Snyder Cut people talking about this.
By the way, I'm still totally not downloading comic in the background.
Ray Fisher, when Ray Fisher brought a bunch of stuff up about how Joss Whedon treated him on set, a few people came out, and then, there was a little bit of a trickle, and then, it's almost like some kind of non-disclosure agreement expired, because after that, a bunch of people just said, yeah, fuck Joss Whedon. He's a fucking cunt on set. You know?
Yeah, fuck Joss.
Stop being a fucking cunt.
All my homies hate Joss Whedon, baby. Woo!
16 being a single episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and an HBO series called The Nevers that may as well scrawl the words premature cancellation across the opening credits. And then...
The fuck is The Nevers?
With prospects wriggling and desperation mounting, Joss Whedon opened his fucking app, and rolling fields of fucking shit. Was it ever amazing? When Wonder Woman herself, Gal Gadot, claimed he'd threatened her career on set, he replied that she misunderstood because, and I quote, English isn't her first language. Mind you, this is a dude who apparently called Charisma Carpenter a big sweaty hog while filming Angel, only for it to emerge that she was actually just fucking pregnant.
What?
Yeah, that is an actual thing that happened. Like,
Oh my
god.
like he didn't know that she was pregnant at the time. He thought.
And I'm fairly certain Gal Gadot is fluent in English.
Yes, she speaks very good English. She just has an accent, and it's quite sexy.
Yeah, fuck. Joss.
Horny fuck.
Anyway.
The allegations he was difficult as a director on Justice League, with particular attention to alleged actor Ray Fisher, who attempted to play Cyborg in the film. Whedon said his entire story, and I quote, logically made no sense. Welcome to the Snyderverse, Slick. Claiming he discussed the script changes with Fisher in friendly fashion before calling him, quote, a malevolent force, and again I quote, a bad actor in both senses. Razor Force, I got a problem here. I think I'm starting to like Joss Whedon. Seriously?
Yeah, Buddy, did you fucking watch Justice League? Alleged actor Ray Fisher. Alleged actor Ray Fisher. Come on. Come on, man. Attempted to play Cyborg. Have you... Even in the fucking butchered Justice League cut, he put in a perfectly fine performance. He put in a great performance in the real version. Like,
yeah, he even said booyah like all the other Cyborg
like,
actors.
and you know, you can seriously say whatever the fuck you want, do it. Taste in movies is subjective, all right? I don't like that piece of shit Spider-Man 2. I think The Empire Strikes Back is the worst of the real Star Wars movies, you know?
Ooh.
No, it's not true. Revenge of the Sith is the worst.
Get out
But
of here. Kick him from the stream.
But seriously, my stream, my server. I can say whatever the hell I want about whatever movie I want. Let's.
Right.
Because he's the king of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, but let's get back on track here. Razor.
Big bald goof. Sure, his characters all talk like they're the same person with a different fucking face, but folks, be honest. Momentarily shelving our mutual disdain for this hacky hobbit after a decade of Denis Villeneuve 8-hour epics.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Denis Villeneuve is one of the best directors of this fucking generation. Like, he hates Blade Runner 2049 for no reason. Like, this fucking retard thinks that oh, you can't have sunlight in a film noir movie. Like, have you watched some of the old film noir films? They have daylight in those. It's not exclusively set at nighttime. You can't do that. Like, he bitches about shit that has... You try to claim that you're some kind of, like, master of linguistics. You're a fucking pedant at best, and you don't even get shit right all the time. You're... Like, okay, so you put out a dramatic reading of a lost episode of The Shadow, Razor, and lost episode of The Shadow radio show, and I think it was like 2-something hours, and like, you can't. Why do you think that a long movie automatically makes it bad? Why the fuck do you like Dredd? Do you not like Dredd as much as the fucking Stallone movie from the 90s? You know? Well, like, your taste in film is absurdly poor, for as good as it can be at times. Like I like Cobra. I like a lot of this shit you like. But yeah, I'm talking about the Stallone film. But yeah, you know, I have a completely unironic appreciation of the 80s, but this guy said that because Batman the Animated Series was derivative of the Tim Burton films, that it was somehow lesser because of it, or at least he implied it on Twitter. And he said, oh, you know, if you like Batman the Animated Series, you should watch the movie. It took a whole lot of influence from it. And it's like, if you like Batman the Animated Series, you should probably stay as far away from the Burton movies as possible, because they're not that great in comparison. Like, you'll see a bunch of familiar stuff, but you'll also see, like, how Batman the Animated Series did things better. And the thing is, Batman the Animated Series copied some stuff from it, but they also share a common lineage of the Batman comics. And this is turning into like my personal problems with how Razorfist approaches media. So I'm going to try and get back on track here and just say fuck you about the fucking about what Ray Fisher's performance. Like, the man deserved a goddamn Oscar for that performance, and he was cheated out of it by Joss and the Academy. The only Oscars that it was up for, no, it was up for 2 Oscars, and it was the fucking fan Oscars that Marvel made, you know? Like, Marvel insisted that this shit, and it's just like, yeah, that was really fucking good. And, like, I don't get what his thing is, because he'll bitch and moan about how, like, oh, the films, these films are too serious. Oh, these films aren't serious enough. Oh, this thing from the 80s, which was like this somewhat goofy, campy nightmare, is better than this thing from now, which, like, takes itself more seriously. It's like, he can't decide whether he likes something that takes itself seriously or something that's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Like Tim Burton's Batman films were not 100%, didn't play themselves 100% straight. Like, a lot of his favorite movies from the 80s played themselves 100% straight. And then Zack Snyder comes along, and Christopher Nolan comes along, and both of them play their comic book adaptations 100% straight. Like he says for a bunch of stuff that he likes from the 80s, like just various action films and things like that.
Let's not forget that Batman is a fucking psycho.
Yeah, that play things completely straight. And then these films come along, and he's like, oh, they're playing things too straight. And then and films like Dredd come along, and he's like, oh, it's pretentious. And he like some film noir film from the fucking 50s or 40s or something like that was like pretentious as fuck, you know? I don't know where he's coming from in any of these regards, and I've probably got more experience listening to Razorfist videos than you guys, but I don't know that for a fact. Have either of you watched a lot of his videos?
No, I haven't watched any of his videos, so let's go.
Okay.
Give a fuck about all of them paid professional reviewers, where Hollywood attempts to portray itself as painfully PC and ever so woke, in the same town where a glass ceiling is the thing young actresses stare at while Harvey Weinstein fucking plows them. Are you, like me, starting to miss the more honest days when Hollywood directors would cuss out the second AD, tell Ben Affleck to shit in his hat, and warn abroad she's getting fucking fat, instead of listening to the transracial leading labia virtue signal her world-rending wokeness, while Roger Deakins films a fucking sunrise for 15 hours straight? I'm not saying he's a...
Okay. I have no idea what this is in reference to.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about, and yet his voice is actually entertaining.
Yeah, like that's part of the problem.
I feel like that might be his drive. I feel like that might be the point. I feel like that might be what draws people into him. Also, Blade Runner 2049 more than broke even at the box office, which is more than you can say for the original. Yeah, and Dune was a massive success. At the very least, I could. At the very
which
least, keep
Doom?
the videos short, or unlike Bob Chipman,
The 2021 one.
who rants for God knows how long,
The
so
game?
goddamn quick.
No, Dune.
They have to play
Oh,
his
Dune,
videos
okay.
at 3/4 speed,
Mhm.
just so that you can understand what the fuck he's saying.
Arrival made like 4 times its budget back. Sicario was a success. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, his last 1, 2, 3, 4 movies, his last 4 movies have made a lot of fucking money. And, you know, he had some lesser films before then, but they've all made some money too. Some of them have made less, but that's because they're like, you know, some cons shit, you know, art house films. And he starts branching out into fucking genre movies, is where he's actually able to make some money and like bring his unique unique flavor to them. And fuck you. Blade Runner 2049 was better than the original anyways. I fucking said it.
Okay.
So sorry that was a cue to keep going. Sorry.
Or anything, not least of which because I doubt he can fucking read. But folks, isn't Joss Whedon's good old-fashioned outright arrogance refreshingly honest in an era where we all pretend Black Panther is a monument to societal change instead of a glorified fucking race swap of the Phantom?
I miss
Folks,
Chadwick.
We all do. Also, how is
Hang
it
on,
that
I have to look this up because let's see here. Because I've seen the Phantom movie and it's not the same plot.
If anything, it's the same plot as Aquaman: Throne of Atlantis.
Yeah, if he'd have made that point, it would have made actual sense.
But no, I sincerely doubt he's actually watched the DC
Like,
AMU.
what the fuck up? What the or read that comic? Like, what the fuck is up with him simping for these shitty fucking superhero adaptations? Excuse me.
I don't know.
I want to say we were going to get a Black Panther film with Chadwick that was going to have to face off against Namor.
That would have actually been really fucking good.
And now the next Black Panther movie has Namor, but no Black Panther, which ruins the fucking point.
Yeah, and it's going to fucking suck in the box office.
I really hope
It's gonna be a bomb. It's gonna be a bomb.
Even like the family of Chadwick is pissed because they won't recast him. Like that's what you would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's like no.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
the person who
Chadwick
was originally going to
wanted
take the
them
role
to
that
keep going.
and they wanted this girl to take over, but she's anti-vax, so they
That's
can't
some
give it to her
legends.
Lupita Nyong'o, I believe the actress's name was.
Yes.
Yeah, but she's the one with the two future gun-looking things.
She's Shuri.
Yeah, Shiri, or whatever it is.
No, wait, it's Letitia. Huh? Lupita Nyong'o
So-
played Nakia.
What does Dragon Ball have to do with this, done?
Anyway,
Did I miss the arc where Black Panther fights Self in Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's keep.
You know that actually sounds
Ray
fucking
Fisher
awesome.
is actually bitching about his role as a robot being carved out of this terrible fucking film because, and I quote, he could have challenged stereotypes if he had more fucking screen time.
Well, that wasn't the only thing he was bitching about. He was also bitching about how his character got completely shit-canned out of the movie, even though he was, like, one of the driving forces of the plot in the original version. He was bitching about how Joss Whedon treated him and the others on set, about how Joss was a fucking bully and not conducive to professionalism and like, decent filmmaking and all that.
John's condoned it.
Yeah, and, yeah. Like, what the fuck, guys?
Anyway.
Did you...
Fucking act, my dude. Look, I'm not defending Whedon as such. I still think he's a spine snapping douche, but people, can't we all admit he's the precise phylum of fucking douche that the halfwits in Hollywood deserve to be stuck with? So yes, I will laugh at this and
No.
my lungs collapse. And no, I am not offering my abdomen as a shield against the online headshots whizzing his way on social media. I mean, have you seen the size of the man's melon? The grounds crew at Fenway Park couldn't cover that kind of surface area. I'm Razorfist. God fucking speed.
This video was fucking fence-sitting at its finest.
Yeah.
Because, like, Razor is attempting to marry his hatred of Zack and modern DC films with his hatred for Joss Whedon, and it's coming along as the most disingenuous bullshit I've seen in my goddamn life.
The only thing I can give him credit for is that he's a good entertainer.
Oh yeah, no fault against the guy there. It's well performed.
So the next one is of spandex and slow-mo, the Snyder Cut rant.
Yeah. You want to bring? Do you want to bring that up?
Yes.
All right.
How long is that video?
It's only 7 minutes. It's shorter.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll be through that pretty quickly.
All right, I'll stay for it. After that, though, I do need to go. No. Well, not now. Like, Tommy's just staring at me like, come on.
Okay, we're all watching the same thing, right?
Yes, you've got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it pulled up.
You got it. Go. Zip through this, baby.
If you're among the living, chances are you've heard of a little ditty called Justice League. If you're among the brain dead, chances are you've been anticipating a little ditty called the Justice League Snyder Cut.
And already,
Fuck you.
Already he fucking lost me.
Anyway.
Before you ask, yes, I have seen the film in question now, if for no other reason than to admire the sheer capitalist spectacle of witnessing a mass-marketed movie
Capitalist
abortion
spectacle?
live in
What are you
real time.
talking
And
about?
Yeah, I don't really get that.
I don't like. If anything, like capitalism might have been one of the reasons why this film died, but even that's a stretch.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sense. I did not leave my living room disappointed. I mean, what did you people fucking...
Well, considering you've like moved from your... I've seen the rest of his house in like live streams and stuff. You didn't leave your living room at all. You walked across the fucking room to your computer chair.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway.
Logic. Let's take a long-ass film with the unbridled narrative rapidity of snail racing a glacier and make it even longer and slower, thereby improving it?
It was only 2 hours! Justice League was only 2 hours! That's not a long time for a film.
Yeah. What does he think? Think that a film should always be an hour and a half?
Apparently.
That's...
If your film is an...
Reminder that Justice League was exactly 2 hours.
Yeah.
They mandated it.
If your film is 90 minutes, I'm guessing that you've either left a bunch of stuff out, or, well, 90 minutes or less. If your film is 90 minutes or less, I'm guessing that you either left a bunch of stuff out, or a bunch of stuff got cut. Very few times are films that are roughly 90 minutes actually as good as they could have been.
I kind of disagree because I know there are some movies that are meant to be that long.
Well, yeah, but that's like if you there are very few times these days where if a movie is actually 90 minutes, that it was actually meant to be like that.
Fair enough.
And then there's also the fact that I've showcased Alex the entirety of the Berserk film trilogy.
And let me just go ahead and pick out a random, and I don't mean random. I completely planned this out. A random movie for my shelf called Justice League War, a 79-minute abortion of a film that barely starts before it ends. Yeah. You can't tell some stories in the space of less than 2 hours. You can't tell some stories in the space of less than 5. There's a reason why Justice League was 4.
Meanwhile, Judas' contract was at least able to get was at least able to tell its story in the hour and a half time limit. Since
Judas' contract was...
We had actual context to some of these characters. It was a sequel.
Yeah, Judas' contract was already based on an arc from the comics, and comics are kind of short.
Yeah. Anyway.
Healthcare over to the same guys who handle the MV fucking D. There was always something off about the entire Justice League directorial ordeal to me. While Snyder kept back home to handle personal business was always more than understandable to me. The idea that he was then immediately fucking replaced by a bald bitch-made Bolshevik with the exact opposite of his cinematic sensibilities always made the personal tragedy explanation come off like one of those Stalin photographs where some fuckbag he had back magically pieces out of the fucking background quicker than a Hunter Biden handjob tweet. Having seen the joyless
He's saying that basically Warner Brothers excuse that Zack left because of personal stuff was bullshit, which we already knew. You don't have to bring this up. You could have just said that, like, they shuffled him away because we know this. This is like what part? I guess I should ask now, what part is confusing you? Because, excuse me. Damn it.
It's just, we know this already.
Yeah, this is well established. This isn't even speculation. This is, we know this.
Anyway.
Our 4-hour final results. It ain't no mystery to me fucking why. Marvel were caving in DC's wad at the box office around this time. Man of Steel made money, but it still received a stratified appraisal from the public, and Batman v Superman sucked ass through a straw. DC execs were doubtless looking at Marvel movies with their...
No, Batman v Superman got ruined by Warner Brothers. Batman v Superman was shot as 2 movies.
But then it was
It-
shit as 1 movie.
Yeah, it got cut to hell.
We were lucky to even get that extra hour where that was likely planned for the 2-parter.
Oh, it was 30 minutes, but yeah, they cut a half hour out of the movie.
Actually, it was an hour.
Because the theatrical cut's 2.5, and the Ultimate Edition is 3.
3.5.
No, it's...
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that you're thinking of Watchmen. Watchmen was 3.5, and that was cut down to 2. Because that was also shot as 2 movies and worked down to 1.
Runtime, keep in mind, folks, this was being filmed before fucking Logan and the aptly named Infinity War, whose combined 5-hour, 40-minute runtime began Marvel's slow slide to screen repair that doubles as a fucking career choice. They were watching a lumbering land whale of a movie, beaching its boring ass on Snyder's watch and saying, in DC's classic hour late in the dollar schluck fucking fashion, hey, anybody got that Whedon Cat's number? He was almost hip half a decade ago. Oh shit, what's he doing to the lead actress? And the lead actor? And the lead actor's mom? And the lead actor's underage niece? And while there certainly was some initial organic autism with the hashtag, once Warner Brothers and HBO got a hold of it for fucking shilling purposes, if the release the Snyder Cut campaign were any more
That didn't happen. That didn't happen. They tried to shut it down. They tried to shut it down for years. It took us 4 goddamn years. 4 goddamn years to get this film released. That even... It was 3 years before they fucking announced it. Even if it was, taken up by Warner Brothers in the last year, we still had 3 years of organicism. 3 years of a grassroots movement. I was fucking there, Razor. I was part of this movement. I was there when the theatrical cut released, and it was shit. I watched it. I saw people like slowly by inches is like finding out stuff about the movie, creating fan edits to try and recreate what Zack would have done, doing all kinds of things. There was so much.
Where Captain America kills Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The Snyder cut of Civil War, where Spider-Man fucking dies. No way, he doesn't die. He's just like, I'm okay.
God damn it, Captain America screwed me out of my meal ticket.
Now we gotta revive him with the Dragon Balls.
Ted, gather the Dragon Balls.
We wish back Spider-Man.
I thought he was your arch nemesis, sir.
Shut up.
Shut up, Ted.
Please, can we continue?
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan would be wiping his cleats on the fucking thing. King, it's been how many years since Gamergate, and people are still unironically saying support anything SJWs don't appear to like, no matter how corporate a cash grab it happens to be.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Who the fuck said that? I've been here for fucking years, man. I was here for this shit longer than you were, Razor. Like, who's saying this? You motherfucker! You're one of the people who says this stuff. Do you remember Kingdom Come Retribution? Or Kingdom Come Deliverance, yeah. Do you remember Kingdom Come Deliverance? That shitty fucking game that you propped up. Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't bad. But it had a shitty control scheme that was made for a controller that doesn't fucking exist, and a save system that should have been fucking outlawed back in 2010 after hard drives became standard on every goddamn system in the entire fucking console market. Do you understand why people would have maybe disliked this game that's got a lot of really rough edges that we'd long since left in the past? But you supported solely because SJWs didn't like it because it was historically accurate to the setting it was made for. You see, this is a problem with stuff like what you say, Razor, because you are everything that you are trying to excoriate in this very video. You are projecting as hard as one of those SJWs does whenever they try and say, oh, anime is all for pedophiles, video games are all for pedophiles, video games are for sexists, video games are for racists. You are now turning into that. You are this character that everybody fucking hates, right? Like, everybody hates that guy who like performatively supports something that their opponent dislikes. You will go out of your way to say that everybody who dislikes something that you yourself shilled is some kind of corporate shill because they didn't like what you liked. Tastes are different. Tastes are always going to be different. I will not fault you for liking some of the shittiest direct-to-video films of all time. I will not fault you for liking or disliking certain things that I liked. But I will absolutely fault you for shit like this, because you supported games and movies and things like that because they were politically incorrect. You liked Duke Nukem Forever. You stuck up for Duke Nukem Forever when it was released. You got distracted by everything that every reviewer at the time who gave it a negative review said was there to distract you. You became the corporate shill in that moment. You stuck up for 3D Realms. You stuck up for Gearbox. You stuck up for the people who went on to become the SJWs. You are a fucking hypocrite, Razor. Shut the fuck up about some of this stuff, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about half the time. You go off on all of these well-researched excursions for stuff like debunking the Michael Jackson accusations, for like your Hollywood rant, for the Nazis were always socialist rant. You go off on so much research. You come down and you bring all these citations out, and you go over why all of this stuff that people are propping up as fact is untrue. And then something like this comes along, and you've got the jerkiest of knee-jerk reactions. What the fuck? Legitimately, I thought you were better than this. Let's move on.
Yeah, please. It's ridiculous.
By the way, Alex, I sent you something.
I'll have to take a look at that.
In the rear view mirror, folks. Any mirror that can actually fit her fat ass anyway. How is it possible any of you are still unaware morally bankrupt movie corpos have caught on to the marketing potential of the anti-SJW dollar? Did no one catch on around the time we all pretended to
They still haven't caught on yet, to be honest.
Oh, you are a motherfucker. You don't understand shit. Alita Battle Aim, the only reason you're pitching about this is because it's based in a fucking manga and anime. Because you have this irrational hatred for all of Japanese media, despite the fact that you yourself are one of the biggest fucking weebs in the entire world. And why? Is it because maybe one of your ex-girlfriends, I'm sorry, it wasn't your ex-girlfriend, it was some girl that you liked, wound up dating a weeb instead of you, and you've become like this closeted weeb ever since, because you don't want to admit that you like the same things as some of the people who have done things wrong to you, maybe? That's a real thing, by the way, that's a real thing that actually happened.
Figured. Anyway, let's continue.
Because it wasn't Star Wars. Wake the fuck up and smell the snow job. Short review. Shit sucked to start with, and now it sucks even longer. This ain't the Blade Runner director's cut where the inclusion of a single scene of a unicorn suggests an entirely new interpretation of the fucking film. For an example of a spectacular, slightly censored vision of Zack Snyder, consider the inclusion of two separate slow-mo sequences wherein Lois Lane knocks back a soy latte in the rain. Aquaman kills some whiskey while Nick Cage's cringy ass bellows over top. Twice! Truly transformative shit, Snyder.
Twice? Last I checked, There's Kingdom only plays once.
Yeah, I was about to say. That only happened once in the movie, and also, like, maybe there's a purpose to this scene. There's a purpose to the scene, to both of those scenes. There's a purpose to the first scene, because the first scene is Lois mourning her fucking boyfriend.
And then the second scene is Aquaman and just going down on the surface, denying his, but deep down he's denying his heritage as a king.
Right.
Because he
There's
was meant to be the right
thematic relevance. There's thematic relevance to the song. Something James Gunn needs to really remember.
He did kind of remember it with Ego. Oh, because as the lyrics of really want to meet you, I really want to see the Lord or whatnot.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of neat.
Shit, Snyder, I can see why you all simp for its fucking release. Maybe now we can make something truly immortal and meaningful, like Sucker Punch fucking 2, now with 80% more chroma key and goddamn green screen mistakes. And speaking of Snyder, I suppose before I move on...
Could you maybe have used a scene where that was actually evident? Because that was a really good shot there, buddy.
Yeah. I'm like, where's the green screen mistake?
Cutting room, yes. We all know Snyder appeared in an online charity stream. Yes, we all watched him throw ardent Snyder Cut supporters, geeks, and gamers under the butt fucking bus.
Yeah, I will... Look, Hollywood directors, a lot of directors don't have a whole lot of time to like, understand shit. Because they're constantly working on these projects, so they only really know things that people tell them. And, like, Zack is a little bit too trusting. We already learned that from the production of Justice League. He's a little bit naive. Like,
Yeah, so Zack is a very innocent man.
Yeah, so he believes what people say about stuff, because, like, he doesn't... And, like, he was talking shit about geeks and gamers, and I'll say, like, he should have probably looked into it. I don't necessarily fault him for not knowing this, and like the biggest... I'm not gonna stand up for him too much here because it is kind of a shitty thing to do. But, like, he's... Yeah.
What's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing? How's everybody doing? Good. Just a quick thing before we get started. I know that on our donation page, we still have the Geeks and Gamers logo. I just want to say that I really we talked about this, and we're really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned, and I really just want to make that clear. And I also want to just say,
Is that Tyrone Magnus?
Yes, that is Tyrone Magnus.
Holy shit.
He's buff.
Yeah, that guy's fucking big.
Yeah, Tyrone's a fucking...
There's a guy who looks kind of like him who wears that exact same shirt to the gym.
Get him as Black Superman.
Well, at least he looks like he works out, unlike Loads Your God. Man only does torso day, but he's got skinny chicken legs.
Yeah.
If Justice League teaches us anything, it's about coming together, and there's no room for hate. And I just think that it's important. It's an important message, and of course, as father of Asian children, it really hits close to home for me. And I just really want to put that out there that we all, there's no room for hate. But that ain't the reason this.
Okay, yeah. So that's something else I wanted to bring up. This is people are doing that thing where they mistake two statements that are made in like the same breath as being the same thing, because this is two different sentences. He's not directly linking Geeks and Gamers to this. He's saying like we are not part of them, and also like talking about something else that was kind of happening at the time, which he felt like he needed to address. So he's on the one hand, he's being fed bad information, and on the other hand, he's also like not exactly doing what you say he's doing. So this is all very dishonest. Try not to shoot the message, as it were, because it's coming. Why? Okay, so no. Justice League is one of the movies that was attempting to kill the superhero franchise, the superhero movie phenomenon. Not on purpose, just because it was formulaic as fuck and exactly what people were tired of. People flocked to stuff like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Justice League, the real version. Excuse me, because they're different. They're not the same formula as all the rest of this shit.
Right. Let's continue.
Certainly not before we get a proper pulpy version of the Shadow, though, but it's a simple, immutable fucking reality that is not going anywhere. The same thing that happened in westerns and in gangster movies, film noir and 80s fucking fantasy films will one day befall the superhero flick. And I'd argue it may have just accelerated. Thanks to interminable poof lockdowns, we're going on 12 months of nearly nil in the Cape Shit cinema category. And what few have released lost millions on home streaming services. While some
Yes, that's because theaters were still closed. Also, those movies were mostly garbage.
Yep. Black Widow, Shang-Chi, The Eternals, Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84. Fucking Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey didn't need the help of a pandemic to kill it. Like...
Yeah, that's funny. Birds of Prey got murdered by Sonic.
Yeah. Oh, I have a...
Sonic ends up ends up staking the vampire known
So,
as Morbius.
let me go ahead and pull off my little skit.
I've come to make an announcement. Sonic the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker. He fucked my girlfriend. He pulled out his hedgehog quilly dick and fucked her right in the pussy. And then he pulled it out and said it was this, this big. And I said, that's disgusting. So I'm making a call-out post at mytwitter.com. Sonic the Hedgehog, you've got a tiny dick. It's like the size of this walnut, only way smaller. And now check out my dick. Boom. All metal, no quills, no pillows. It looks like a fucking rocket launcher. Because it is.
So he pulls out a rocket launcher from his pants.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. It was like that when he pulls out the giant gun from Batman 1989.
Yeah, and
Speaking
then,
of
yeah, it's like first Sonic fucks Harley till she's like, you know, dead-ish.
Oh, Puddin', I want some more.
I do want to say,
Why do you have
of,
quills in there? Oh, God, they're blue. And they're electrifying.
Speaking of Snapcube, they started
Oh, and then he
post-production on
proceeds
how
to
the
stake.
Hedgehog
Then he proceeds to stake Morbius, the living vampire.
Sonic just starts playing that on his phone as he speeds away from Morbius's murder scene.
And then when Morbius dies, he's like, wait, I can't curse you if you're not here. Damn it.
Okay, let's keep going. Sorry about that. I've been sitting on that skit for years. That's not gonna happen, Razor!
Nope.
People have been saying this for 10 goddamn years. People have been saying, oh, superhero fatigue is finally setting in after the Avengers. Superhero fatigue is finally setting in after Age of Ultron. Superhero fatigue is finally setting in after Supergirl debuted. Superhero fatigue's finally setting in now that fucking Infinity War's over, you know? Well, that hasn't happened. Like, by and large, they're still going strong if they're decent. Fucking No Way Home made bank.
Yeah, I thought the film would still make a lot of money. Look at the new Doctor Strange. That was pretty
Yeah.
good. He's making a ton of money.
Yeah, it made a shitload of movie.
And then Eternals fucking died.
Yeah.
And then there's Black Widow, which fucking died. Shang-Chi barely broke even. You get the point.
For perspective, my local Cinemaplex, which was doing just fine before China came down from cold, is now in the process of being converted to fucking office space. And Arizona was one of the least lockdown states in the union for most of the last fucking year. Yikes, indeed. And somehow, I don't think a 4-hour version of a film no one fucking liked to begin with is gonna corn anyone.
It's almost like it was a completely different movie. It's like changing, it's almost like changing the tone, cutting out all the subplots and character development, and changing a bunch of lines, and adding a bunch of really shitty visual effects, and having Ben Affleck in the suit without letting him have even a fucking month to prepare her to get back in shape. It's almost like all of that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Redoing all the visual effects. Marginally. Marginally, he says. As if Zack Snyder's Justice League didn't have photorealistic CGI for characters that are literally impossible to portray in makeup.
Yep.
As if...
There's only like one scene of bad CGI, and it was when in the Flash sequence where you zoom into Cyborg CGI face, but that was kind of it in terms of bad CGI in the film.
Yeah, as opposed to Cavill's mustache and Steppenwolf being made of rubber in several scenes. and things like
Yeah,
that.
You could argue that Steppenwolf had Mr. Fantastic superpowers.
Yeah. And all of the scenes being, like, really fucking and bright for no goddamn reason, even when it was supposed to be nighttime. That's more color correction and whatnot, but still.
Anyway.
Power to ya. I kind of dig Daredevil, so who the fuck am I to talk? But for my money, I'm thinking mainstream audiences may
Credited himself.
What was that fucking jump cut there for, buddy?
Who the fuck do you think you're kidding? Justice League sucked. The Snyder Cut sucks in slow-mo. I'm Razorfist. God fucking speed.
I don't know why he had to discredit himself at the end like that, saying that why his sport doesn't matter. What a waste of time. What a waste.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's that's gonna be it for today.
Tomorrow we'll be doing more live streams, and I'll be debuting Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, I might go back to Spider-Man, or I might. I'm thinking about playing some FTL, because I really like FTL.
I think I'm talking about what happened to Rune Factory 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of shit to cover tomorrow in terms of news.
Oh yeah.
I've also got a. Yeah, I actually I need to do this. I used to make a rundown for my old podcast I hosted. Where I'd have like a list of topics for us to talk about. I need to start doing that.
Send you a list. We should send each other a list.
Did you check the thing I shared to you?
The.
It goes scroll up a tiny bit.
The bats and the turtles.
No.
Oh, the.
No.
Oh yeah.
But also this and critique of stories.
Yeah, I
Optimus motherfucking Prime.
Yeah, I saw that. The.
I need to go to bed now. So
All right.
You guys, I need to get ready for work. Shit. So you guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man.
It was nice talking. That was awful. I just want to.
So are we no longer live?